While heading back from the market like everyone else, this young man suddenly bumped into an ugly toad that was so offensive to look at it made his head throb. Just when he was minding his own business, he got caught up by this monster, and he silently cursed the guys from the agencies. The government just won't do their job properly. Without thinking any further, he pulled out the onions he had just bought and used them to hit the monster. As it spat out a Coca-Cola can, Jay jumped up to finish off the toad, which bled out and collapsed dead. After a long sigh of frustration, Jay looked back at the pile of onions, regretting it deeply. After all, they were expensive borrow onions. G was indeed a level S awakened being reported dead 8 years ago. Pulling out his iPhone, Pro Max G immediately called the police, hesitating. "Hello, there's a dead monster in the alley where I'm standing. It seems like some hunter dealt with it and then just left. This place looks like the alley leading to the supermarket or something. It resembles a really big and disgusting toad and it smells terrible. I don't dare to look any closer." After receiving the notification that someone would arrive in 5 minutes, the young man hung up. Jay rustled as he picked up his bag, thinking he should leave before running into them. Just then, a spatial crack appeared. Among the few countries with functioning governments and military systems, the United States leads in adapting and responding quickly. The second fastest country to respond after the U.S. is South Korea. This is undeniably thanks to the S-level awakened beings who have emerged shining like stars hunters like Sanji. Aside from the nickname and gender, all other information about him is kept secret. This is Captain Korea, a hero in troubled times who didn't hesitate to dive into the cracks and dungeons. To save countless people, G is also the former #1 hunter in South Korea and the first S-level hunter. 8 years ago, he, along with 44 other hunters, sacrificed themselves to seal the first-level crack and became heroes of the nation. No one could have imagined. Now he's just an ordinary G carrying a bag to the market looking so plain. He should have sounded more panicked when he called to report right at this moment. He doesn't even think about going back to being a hunter anymore. Exactly 5 minutes later, the support team arrived at the alley that had been reported. The red-haired girl continuously exclaimed, "Wow, this is impressive. Handling a swamp toad so neatly like this must be a senior right plus if they had been just a little slower." This monster would have already spat out acid everywhere. In reality, Jay had cleaned it up so well that they thought they could hand it over to the research team. The red-haired girl asked the guy next to her if there were any traces left. "Check it out. If it's at this level, then that person's strength must be no joke." After scanning, the guy was sweating nervously, wondering how powerful that person must be. And yet they left no traces at all. It must definitely be a professional hunter. The red-haired girl, leaning on her hands, seemed annoyed. Is this another anonymous hunter? Comics and novels are full of nonsense that spoil kids, but I heard this monster that just escaped is level 4. Luckily, it hasn't eaten anyone or destroyed any buildings. Maybe it hasn't eaten anyone and hasn't destroyed any buildings yet. Now let's take this frog home. Suddenly, this guy with a keen nose caught a whiff of the borrow onion smell around here, and the red-haired girl quickly guessed that he must have picked up some borrow onions from the trash to eat. But mentioning borrow onions makes me really hungry. Are we heading back to the usual spot after work? That guy seems really down. The place we go to every day. In another scene, Jay is serving tables and bringing out the hangover soup for customers, surrounded by all the noisy chatter, just like the guys expected. The anonymous person is actually the hero of the country, and Jay is currently working part-time at a busy hangover soup shop to the point where he's getting exhausted. With his rough nature, G has occasionally pushed back against customers when they ask for more soju, saying, "Hey, bring me more soju too." "No way, that's the second bottle already." The customer was taken aback, looking confused. "What are you talking about? I've only had 1 bottle." G flatly replied, "I saw you put the empty bottle in the storage system earlier." He did this because the shop has a clear rule posted on the wall that each table is limited to 2 bottles of alcohol to prevent excessive drinking and fighting, leaving the older guy only able to sulk. "It's me. Putting the bottle in storage was faster than catching a monster. You've got sharp eyes like a ghost." "Could he be a hunter?" the guy in the pink shirt sitting across whispered. "I've asked the captain already." The captain said he's just an ordinary person. The older guy still looked at G with a curious gaze, wondering if he could be a hidden hunter, or maybe not registered at all, while the guy in the pink shirt waved his hand and laughed foolishly. "That's not possible. If he's not registered, he'd have to pay a hefty fine. Besides, if he were the hidden hunter, he'd be out hunting at night. He's not crazy enough to work part-time at a hangover soup shop like this." Thinking it over, the guy in the black shirt licking his lips had a point. Hidden hunters often look really shady. The guy in the pink shirt continued to nod. "If he awakens, he'll definitely be a catch for my team. His vision is sharp enough to catch him hiding a soju bottle in the storage system, and his strength is at a level where he could carry several boiling pots at once." He was already this skilled before awakening, so after awakening, he should at least reach level B. The two of them continued to whisper like that. They thought G couldn't hear them, but in reality, he caught every word. While washing dishes, Jay thought to himself, how dare they discuss recruiting a long-time senior like me back and forth? Well, I awakened before those guys. Initially, Jay wasn't a part-time employee at the Hangover Soup Shop. Months ago, the moment he opened his eyes, he found himself lying in a pile of trash. Originally, Jay wasn't a part-time employee at the soup shop. A few months ago, the moment he opened his eyes, he found himself lying in a pile of trash. It was so foul and disgusting that it made him nauseous. Looking back, he was still confused about where he was, even though he clearly remembered fighting the basilisk monster. Jay remembered that he even stabbed it in the head with his sword. Remembering over and over, he was clearly in a crack. Could it be that what looked like a crack had pushed him out? How long had time passed? Dee continued to sniff around, trying to stand up with a trembling body. Following the sound of clattering knives, he found a place that looked no different from a soulless corpse. Is this a place that sells food? The old woman, upon seeing him, invited him inside. Dee, no longer coherent, his head spinning, the old woman asked Han how he ended up like this. Did you just come out of the dark prison or something? G replied in a very faint voice. Shortly after, the old woman cooked something for him. The smoky aroma brought G back to life. He ate like a starving man. After finishing, G gradually regained his senses and felt warmth. He looked up at the TV screen and heard news about a level 5 water crack appearing in the western coastal area. 8 years ago, a similar level 1 water crack appeared. Jay was now in a state of panic. What happened 8 years ago? The news continued reporting that the water crack had suddenly increased in level. About a week later, the government had dispatched S-Rank hunters along with 14 A-Rank hunters and added 30 B-Rank hunters to enter the water crack. The water crack in the west had disappeared after a week. Jin was bewildered, clearly confused. That team had entered along with him the hunters sent there. Unfortunately, they could not return. 3 months after the water crack in the Western Sea disappeared, the Awakening Management Bureau confirmed that all the hunters who entered the water crack had perished. If it weren't for Dai, our country wouldn't have a future. The person discussing the loss on live television was Song Jo-hyun, an S-Rank Awakener and director of the Samla Center. Ji felt frozen upon hearing this. What the hell were they talking about? I'm clearly still alive. The spoon he held in his hand trembled and fell. The announcements continued like thunderclaps on live television. G and 44 brave hunters had entered the water crack. Thanks to them, we have the future we do today. We have an obligation to look forward and move on. Here's a documentary commemorating the 8th anniversary of the event. The level 1 water crack in the Western Sea will be concluded here. G tried to keep his last bit of calm and turned to the old woman asking if he could borrow her phone for a moment. The moment he got permission like a madman, the young man rushed over and dialed a number only to be stunned when the operator announced that the number he just dialed did not exist. He felt like collapsing, unable to believe that it had already been 8 years. Had I really fallen down to a time 8 years in the future, but more importantly, had I really died? No, I can't affirm that. His heart raced, his face was dripping with sweat as he tried to calm himself. It couldn't be. Maybe the director just changed his phone number. I have to let them know how the hunters who fought alongside me fought to the end, and how they sacrificed themselves for this world. I must return inside the water crack before losing a teammate who reminded me to remember that the world has changed. You have power, so everyone relies on you. They hope you will save them all, but Uchiha, you're still too young. You don't have to save everyone. You can run away if you want. You can run away if you want. Immediately you stood up and politely took off the watch on your wrist, handing it to the old lady. Here, ma'am, this is all I have right now. Please accept it. The old lady smiled. It's nothing, you don't need to repay me. But you insisted. No, ma'am, if you don't take it, then let me leave it as a token. I'll come back for it later. Right now, it's been 8 years, and looking back at the world now, you see it has changed. A lot, and it's much safer than before. From sending warning texts about impending dangers to the hunters being dispatched quickly to handle situations, everyone lives a life free of fear and worry. I'm counting on you again. In that moment, witnessing the happiness and joy of everyone, you couldn't help but think, I wonder if all those sacrifices from before meant anything, especially since the Hunter G is gone now. No one remembers the person named Chauiji anymore since that moment. You promised yourself to live a quiet life, and so you applied for a part-time job at a restaurant. Right now, you're in a bookstore. In front of you is a sign with a familiar figure reading, Hotline for Registration Advice for Awakeners, 777 inches, reporting unregistered awakeners and criminal behavior, 555. You pondered 9 years ago, Awakeners had a status equal to the police force back then, and it was just you. And the person on that sign is a Class S. Now looking around, even the no-smoking signs or community ads all featured Jong Bin. They used the name of special recruitment to push Jong Bin into the management bureau, still draining his strength. Just then, a little girl from elementary school ran up to you. "Uncle, I've picked out my books." The girl with wide eyes held up a book. You stood there shocked as the cover featured a character with a blackened face in the corner, none other than you. You thought to yourself, this is a copyright violation. Even though I'm the one who's gone, they're using my image so recklessly, aren't they? While you were paying for the 30,001 book, the girl stood below, her eyes shining. "Can I hold the book? It seems like she really wants it." Once outside the bookstore, the girl excitedly asked, "Where are we going now?" With a bored expression, you tightly held her hand. "Where else? I'm taking you home." Then you turned back to the store to prepare for the evening shift. The girl pouted, complaining that it's not fun at all. You couldn't help but smile gently. "There's a lot to prepare for tonight, so we can't go out. I'll buy you ice cream and you can enjoy it at home with Grandma, okay?" At that, the girl finally agreed and obeyed. Your daily tasks at the liquor soup shop include the following. First, at 6 a.m., the shop must open to serve liquor soup to the hunters. They gather for an all-night party until dawn, going until the 5th shift, and the hunters are forced to work overtime. Then from 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m., you'll serve lunch, which is liquor soup for the hunters. They come rushing in like a flood from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. The shop will temporarily close to clean up, wash dishes, and prepare ingredients. After that, you will be responsible for picking up the little girl Ha Yoon Yi from school. From 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. it's the evening service, and at this time you'll have to deal with hunters who have already downed 2 bottles of soju. Gathering for an all-night party until the 5th round, and the hunters are forced to work overtime selling lunch from 11:30 to 2 p.m. This is the soup shop for the hunters. From 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., the shop will temporarily close for cleaning, washing dishes, and preparing ingredients. Jay will be responsible for picking up the child Ha Yoon Yi from school from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m., which will be the evening selling time when Jay will have to face the hunters. I've already had 2 bottles of soju, but still begging to sell more to the kids at 10:20 p.m. while chasing customers out and closing the shop. It was just a tiring process of cleaning up everything, and the young man was extremely annoyed. Anyway, you guys are only waking up unless you drink that special liquor. Otherwise, drinking regular alcohol wouldn't even give you a buzz, so why keep asking for more? All in all, I've been pretty diligent today. While speaking, he punched his back to stretch after resting for a bit. Even though he was tired, G still felt that life wasn't too bad and he didn't have to run around. His dad was everywhere because of the summons from the management department, and he didn't need to roll around fighting monsters. Perhaps he had once wished for a life like this. But there was one thing he was worried about. Recently, his grandmother's legs had clearly weakened, and she always went to practice Tai Chi. After all, she was his only relative at the moment, and he wanted her to go to the hospital for a checkup. So he should ask if her legs were okay. The old lady waved her hand, saying it was just because she was old. In reality, G always worried if the doctor said she needed surgery, what would he do? At that moment, G sat there blankly feeling helpless. He should have lived a secluded life, but instead he was giving away all his savings to help. Supporting the victims of the flood disaster in the Western Sea, he didn't know why. If things really went south, he'd have to squeeze into the dungeon to find something to sell outside. Anyway, the items obtained from the dungeon fetched a high price, and it might be enough to cover the surgery costs. But how could he get into the dungeon, and where was it? Just then, the phone rang, and he hurriedly ran out. "Hello, this is the liquor store. We are currently closed." Before he could finish, a trembling voice came through. "What should I do? Oh no, Ha-Uni has disappeared." "Ji Jun, what did you say?" She said Ha-Uni isn't there. She still couldn't keep her composure. Ha-Uni was nowhere to be found. What should I do? The girl had gone silent for some time, and no one noticed. The world outside was really scary, and for her to go alone like that, to reassure her, he said he would call the police first. Don't worry, I'll go out and find her, you just rest. Nothing will happen," he assured, but she still seemed very worried. "Oh my God, what if both you and the girl really get into trouble?" G confidently reassured her. "I told you it's fine, don't worry too much." "Okay, just be careful and keep an eye on her. She probably won't go far, right? Oh, and don't go out too late. Be careful on your way back. Don't push yourself too hard, okay?" After hanging up, he immediately put on a mask and grabbed his gear to head out. There hadn't been any messages about the waterway opening up suddenly, so the girl should be fine. G activated his tracking vision mode and began to leave. After looking around for a while, he confirmed that the girl wasn't in the nearby area. He decided to run further to search, and suddenly his eyes scanned something. What could possibly ignite such a fierce flame that would make the young man freeze in place and awaken someone? This doesn't seem like the level of an ordinary hunter. It's almost reaching monster level. If I don't confirm this, it could become a danger for Howney, who's running away even faster while the young man stealthily follows the source of this strange fire. Just as I thought. If the monster has this much power, the news and alerts would be ringing out everywhere. That fire turns out to belong to an S-rank hunter like me, and he's wearing a gas mask. What a unique look. Let's go before I get caught up in any trouble. I need to find Ha Yun-yi right away, just as I was about to leave. The S-rank guy had already cornered G and asked him what he was doing out here at this hour. Looking straight into his eyes, G flinched and turned away. This guy even tilted his head, teasing, "I saw you." The apron with the word love makes it seem like you're just an ordinary person, huh? Speak quickly and answer back. Right, this S-rank guy continued. Are you working late tonight? But what are you doing out here with a ladle at this hour? Just be honest. I'm looking for my niece. The girl isn't home. Have you seen a girl about this tall? She's an elementary school student with her hair tied back. After the S-rank guy said he hadn't seen her, G wanted to sneak away. Excuse me, I'll be on my way. Suddenly, this S-rank hunter turned around and approached, asking someone still looking down at the ground. Hold on, let me ask this guy. After getting closer, he kicked the guy a few times and then turned back to G. Sorry, this guy doesn't know anything. G could clearly see he wanted to kick that man. Was he planning to ask, but to keep things polite, G replied, "It's okay, you've had a tough day." Well, I'll be going now. This guy still didn't want to let him go. He even tilted his head and continued, "Wait a minute, it feels like we've met somewhere before." G firmly stated, "But I've never met you." In reality, G was thinking with a look that's striking, how could I have met him somewhere and not remember? After seeing G's puzzled expression, the S-rank hunter finally let him go. All right, just go. Don't go telling anyone about what you saw today. Suddenly, just as G turned his back, he felt sharp spikes rushing toward him, and he quickly turned around to defend himself. That S-rank hunter was also standing there ready. I'm done for. My body reacted instantly. This is really bad. What kind of ordinary person could possibly spin around and knock away the sharp thorns coming at them like that? Sure enough, that S-rank hunter called him back again, but in moments like this, he had to pretend he didn't know anything, so G quickly replied, I have to go right now. Because I need to find my niece. The S-rank hunter pressed closer, asking G's name. Annoyed, G grimaced and said he didn't have a name. The hunter decided to push further. Oh, so you still haven't picked a nickname for yourself as a hunter, right? G shot a glance back, not just that he didn't have a name. The older guy was excited. Then let me name you. G still wore a grimace. Do you run a name and brand registration center or something? I'm really going now. Don't you feel worried about a kid struggling to find their way alone at night? The older guy immediately pulled out his phone and started tapping away. Right, let the members of my team look for you. Just wait a moment, okay? G sprayed some glue, thinking it would be hard to escape now. I don't need your help. I politely decline. I'll ask the police for help. The S-rank hunter caught on and threatened back. I'll call the Awakening Management Bureau then. G jumped, his voice trembling. Why would you call the Bureau? With a smirk, the S-rank hunter continued. Hunters can find things faster with their strength than the police. Do you like being in trouble? If I call him, he'll come right away. I'll help you call him. Damn it, are you serious? At this point, my head is pounding. I've messed with the wrong person. Arguing like this, who knows when it will end? So he asked directly, what do you want from me that you keep holding me back? The S-rank hunter stepped closer, asking just 2 questions. First, is that ladle a hidden S-rank weapon you don't want anyone to know about? Second, are you an unregistered awakened person? G was angry, but tried to stay calm. Lately, those hunters seem to have lost their common decency talking like this to someone they just met. I've been patient enough already. If you're going to be patient, then you might as well stick it out to the end, the hunter continued. That doesn't look like an S-rank weapon, so you must be an awakened person. Unregistered with the Bureau, huh? G clenched his fists, arguing back. I'm not an unregistered awakened person. He kept pushing back. If you're going to brag, at least say it with some sincerity. G was determined to assert, I'm telling the truth. In reality, he wasn't lying, because if he hadn't been erased from the list for having sacrificed himself, then he indeed had registered as an S-rank hunter. The hunter didn't say anything else and launched a direct attack. With no other choice, G had to use that ladle to defend himself. Suddenly, something like poison caused the ladle to turn black. G held on, realizing this reaction was from basilisk venom. The S-rank hunter smirked. A regular person who hasn't awakened yet can actually block my attack, no way. Suddenly, something like poison caused his lips to gradually turn black. G realized that this reaction was the poison of a basilisk. The S-rank hunter chuckled with a smirk. A normal soup, someone who hasn't awakened but isn't registered, can actually block my attack, no way. I didn't know someone could have this kind of power. Ji-Duke couldn't keep his cool any longer and bluntly shot back, "Shut your mouth." "How old are you? Don't you know that S-Rank hunter raised his hand to introduce himself? You're just 24, and yet you talk so boldly to someone you've just met for the first time. That S-Rank hunter is using spray, but he looks about my age." Dai decided to teach him a lesson. "Compared to you, I've already eaten over 5,000 bowls of rice." At this point, Dai unleashed the power of the superior, pointing out that even the older twin born just a minute earlier is still an older sibling. "Have you heard? Why do you keep talking so boldly?" He shrugged and said, "All right, I get it." Hyung-ji froze when someone suddenly called him by a name, Hyung. "What's with that?" He continued to mumble. "If you don't like me calling you Hyung, then tell me your name." Ji waved his hand. "Just don't call me anything, haha, so I'll call you Hyung, okay?" Ji, annoyed, said he already told him not to call him that. The S-Rank hunter teased him, "Yes, Hyung," while Ji was storming inside, but his face had to remain calm. "Let's stop nitpicking. Going back and forth is just a waste of time. If you want a probe, you should come here." Just like that, Dai turned around and the S-Rank guy called back once more, "I've never done that before." Dai didn't want to argue. The 2 questions were done. "But how about 1 question? And there's 1 question you haven't answered yet," Ji insisted. "I told you I'm not lying. It's just that you don't believe me. Besides, you never set the condition that I must answer your questions." After Ji pointed at him and called him out, the S-Rank hunter stood frozen for a moment until a phone rang. After answering, he broke into a goofy smile. Ji turned away, grimacing. "If it weren't for Ha Yun-yi, I would have dealt with you a long time ago." He was talking loudly while on the phone. "Oh, really, come here." "Okay, I'll send a guardian over there. You look so young. Make sure not to make her cry." The S-Rank hunter turned to Ji Hyung. "They said they found your nephew. He's at the playground next to a nearby church." I finally let out a sigh of relief. "Thank you." He suddenly introduced himself. "My name is Lisa Ion. See you next time." "You must tell me your real identity." Looking at the person slumped on the ground, Lisa Ion grabbed him, saying, "Lately, the frequency of appearances seems to have increased a lot." Suddenly, a head popped out from the wall. My captain reported, "The guardian has just arrived at the playground and has met the child." The child was overjoyed and called that person uncle, even hugging them tightly. All Lisa was concerned about was whether anything special had happened. The young man holding a cat reported, "No, nothing happened. Just to be safe, should I follow them?" Lisa ordered, "Have this person follow them. Confirm where they are going, then report back to me." The young man relayed a message from the vice captain asking if it would be possible to meet at 11 a.m. the day after tomorrow regarding the dungeon auction. "Can we hold a meeting about the dungeon auction?" After receiving a nod, the young man said he would convey it to the vice captain. Then Lisa remembered and continued to instruct Saminki to check all the data on the awakened individuals. "Filter out those over 25 years old around 1.8 meters tall with an awakening level of B or higher and report back to me. Also exclude anyone who looks odd. Just check those who seem ordinary." Minky frowned, showing curiosity. "Yes, the data on those awakened individuals. That's confidential information from the Management Bureau of Awakened Individuals. If you give me some time, I can get it. But the life of employees working for the Hunter Company isn't easy." Lisa continued to instruct, "Go find out the name of the child who was just picked up from elementary school." Immediately, Sel Minky had the information. "That child's name is Park Ha-yoon, a 2nd grader from Sibayan Elementary School." Lisa continued to order that they must check the family relationships of that child. Saminki was very surprised. "Family relationships, why is that?" Lisa didn't hide her interest. "I'm a bit curious about the person claiming to be the child's uncle. Just arrived home." After a heart-stopping moment, the girl, still shouting, wanted to play in the yard a little longer. After receiving a few slaps, she cried, feeling wronged. Meanwhile, the grandmother kept hitting her chest to stay calm. "Oh dear, I thought you had run away, and my heart has hurt several times already. What were you doing out there at night? Don't you know how scary the world is now?" Ji held the grandmother's hand tightly and kindly said, "Tomorrow morning I'll teach the girl again, so please don't scold her anymore." The grandmother turned to Ji. "Oh, Ji, are you staying over today?" "No, I have to go back to the shop to prepare for tomorrow's sales." The grandmother looked worried. "Is the business at the shop still okay?" "I need to check on it myself." Ji smiled to reassure her. "Yes, everything is fine. You know I'm healthy, so I can manage. I was also going to ask how your legs have been lately." Looking down at her legs, which seemed unsteady, she still tried to speak to reassure Ji. "My legs are fine, they're almost better." Then looking down at his legs, which seemed unsteady, he still tried to reassure her. "Don't worry, my legs are fine, they'll be okay soon." Just by looking, Ji could tell that she was lying even now. She was also straining to stand on her uninjured leg, and then you returned to her shop. "Good night, and can I borrow your window?" The old lady looked confused, not knowing what G intended to do, and he just smiled awkwardly, not wanting to explain. "It's just a little thing. Tomorrow I'll call to check on her." As he moved out through the window, he actually knew someone was watching him. He even wondered why that guy was letting him go so easily. It turned out someone was secretly following him, carefully lifting his shoes to activate silent steps. Indeed, there were 2 guys standing guard at the door and 2 more waiting in the alley behind. They didn't make any other moves, proving that his exit through the window hadn't been detected. He tried to stay as quiet as possible to observe them. He could take them all down. But they would immediately follow him. They were just following orders. I shouldn't make a big deal out of this and become an enemy of that organization. But G was considering ambushing them from behind. He decided to just incapacitate them temporarily. The 2 guards had been standing too long and seemed to be getting bored talking to each other. "He went in and hasn't come out. Seems like he's gone to sleep." So boring, and the captain reminded us to stay alert. "That blonde guy is yawning, waiting in front for another 30 minutes. If we still don't see anything, we'll head back. We still need to buy fish cakes on the way." Taking advantage of both being off guard, G reached for the collar of the blonde guy. After a few squeezes, both were covered with plastic bags over their faces and passed out. Once done, G checked to see if they were still alive. "I wonder if they're okay. Their pulse is still beating, breathing steady. Sorry, guys." He started to rummage through their pockets and finally found something. Inside the wallet was a team card for the Pado team, a combat support team. It turned out they were from the Pado team, and all hunters had the duty to protect the people. But G didn't know if these people were decent hunters or not. There was no worst-case scenario, only worse ones, and they hadn't left yet. G decided to pull out a pen and write on their shirts as a warning. By the time he reached the shop, it was almost midnight. The time left to prepare the ingredients was less than he thought. Suddenly, G was startled looking at the apron, even recalling Lisa Ion's sarcastic words. "I see it now. The apron has the word love on it, just like the first time we met. See you next time, buddy." G angrily threw the apron on the ground and grabbed another one. He suddenly felt like he was losing. He decided to search for the name Lisa Ion online. Let's see if there's any information. After searching, finally, some information appeared. The 3rd-level S-Class Awakener of Korea, Lisa Ion, ranked first on the new leaderboard. So who is this person? Journalist John Soo Jin commented on whether this person could fill the void left by G and become the #1 hunter. Lisa Ion leads the Pado team, a small mercenary group. Lisa Ion maintains the #1 position, causing surprises due to her attitude during official meetings. G was washing dishes while feeling itchy. Truly nothing could be worse than running into the #1 hunter. Why am I so unlucky? I applied to work at a liquor store to live in hiding. I was trying to conceal my strength, but it turns out this is the favorite shop of hunters, and the person I revealed my strength to is a top hunter. But the strongest among all the hunters in this country is fighting in that small alley. The person who shot out the spikes back then was also suspicious. There were not just 1 or 2 odd things. G took out his phone and started tapping something. He tried searching for hedgehog in the search bar, but there were no results, and he couldn't find any cases either. You tried searching for hedgehogs in the search bar, but there were no results and you couldn't find any cases at all. There's not even a whisper about it, nor any content suggesting that someone has witnessed news that is still being kept under wraps and has not been released. Or it could be that the higher-ups have controlled the information. G starts to think of a worse scenario, and now the real danger is that Lisa might find out about him, and that would threaten her safety. The next day, when the sun had risen, Lisa was holding a piece of paper and reading it intently. If anyone dared to mess with them, they would know what was coming. South Korea is a country with many strong hunters, among which the most prominent is the first team led by Captain Song Ju-hoon, a team that has proven the winning capabilities of hunters. Class S, for a long time, they have built a solid foundation and left a strong, indelible mark in the hunting community of South Korea. The first official team of South Korea is called Samna. The second team was formed right after the event of Canute, gathering knowledgeable researchers who focused on seeking information and research rather than building a reputation and making money. A team comparable to a vessel of knowledge is named Salon. Finally, there is a team with the capabilities of both previous teams, but more streamlined, called Pado and Elite Force, alongside Lisa. While Lisa was lost in thought, someone ran over and asked, "What are you looking at, Sa-Ion? Why do you keep staring?" It was a letter sent by someone. "Lisa, you're too curious already. Let's meet up." All the members gathered in the room, but 4 people were absent. Immediately, the red-haired girl reported, "Deputy Captain, those people are in the treatment room." They must have been there for about a day now. The deputy captain looked very surprised. "What, those people were in the dungeon fighting, so how come—" The red-haired girl shrugged. I don't know where they got beaten up. Hearing this, the deputy captain was furious. Who dared to pick a fight with our people? This cannot be left alone. The red-haired girl pointed at Lisa. Of course we're planning to deal with it. But the captain said to let it go, after hearing that the deputy captain was stunned. Wait, our kids got beaten up by someone and you say to let it go? Then what does that say about the honor of our Pado team? Lisa didn't want to dwell on this issue any longer. Let it go, this is an order. Let's start the meeting. The deputy captain of Pado, with a helpless expression, said to Jisoo, Jisoo, please convey the meeting content to those who are lying down. Jisoo looked annoyed. Every time it's wrong, I'm the deputy captain. Let's proceed with the meeting. So let's start the meeting regarding dungeon selection for this quarter. Everyone turned on their tablets and opened the file sent by the support room. This auction features a new dungeon located underground at Jongro Station number 3. This dungeon is believed to have items for crafting potions that help restore stamina, and there are also many other diverse items to be found. After finishing the viewing, Jisoo's eyes lit up. If it's at Jongro Station number 3, moving there will be convenient. This is great. Why did the government agree to auction this dungeon? The guy in the green tie also chimed in. They must be really short on cash. The auction price will surely be extremely high. Just look, I see all the dungeons being auctioned this quarter are fine, but I'm particularly interested in this one. Jisoo also raised his hand enthusiastically, and soon everyone else followed suit. The deputy captain turned to Lisa. I'm also casting a vote for this dungeon. After finishing watching, Jisoo's eyes lit up. If it were at Jongro Station number 3, moving around is convenient. That's great. Why did the government agree to auction off this dungeon? The guy in the green tie also suggested that they must be really short on money. The auction price will surely be extremely high. Just look at the dungeons being auctioned this quarter. They all seem fine, but I'm getting this dungeon this time. Jisoo also raised his hand enthusiastically, and soon everyone else followed suit. The vice captain turned to Lisa and said, I'll also put in a bid for this dungeon. What do you think? After receiving a nod, the vice captain continued to announce, if there are no other opinions, I'll conclude that in this quarter's auction, we will auction to win the underground dungeon at Jongro Station number 3. So today's meeting is adjourned. Suddenly, Lisa called for everyone to stay a bit longer, causing everyone to look confused and worried, thinking to themselves, what dungeon is Lisa planning to auction off next? Or is she planning to suggest that we steal the auction rights from another team? Sion asked a question that left everyone looking stunned. Has anyone seen a man wearing an apron with the logo of the soju brand around this area? A person who often carries a ladle this big and looks quite beautiful with black hair. Or maybe it's gray, I think. The vice captain started to look puzzled and whispered, Hey, do you guys really not know anything? Jisoo whispered. If the vice captain doesn't know, then who would? All the members knew that Sion wouldn't randomly bring up such a question right before the meeting ended. With a dangerous look, the vice captain turned to Sion and asked, Do you know where they are holding the soju sale event? Jisoo also forced a laugh. Ha, Captain, did you just come back from the supermarket? In reality, the vice captain was thinking that their captain had fallen head over heels for someone and even complimented their beauty. This misunderstanding was quite disgusting. Sion could only feel helpless. These people weren't helping at all. Hearing this, the vice captain Pado angrily slammed his hand on the table. Who is talking about the auction and suddenly brings up a man wearing an apron? Is that what you want to talk about? The day after that hit, the desk cracked in half, and the guy in the blue tie stared straight into the deputy's eyes. I'll submit a request for compensation for the meeting table, and you'll have to cover the tablet too. In the endless confusion, Sa-eon said everyone could wrap up the meeting and go eat. Even though he was frustrated, the deputy still reminded Sa-eon you can't skip meals anymore. Everyone turned to Sa-eon, the team leader, saying, You skipping meals isn't something new. You should really go eat. After a headache, the deputy suggested everyone head to the soup shop. Just hearing that made Jisoo go pale, thinking, why does he keep eating that hangover soup? If we go there to eat again today, I won't go with the deputy anymore. The deputy pulled out some cash, trying to coax, Come on, I'll treat you. Jisoo, rubbing his head, said, I can't hear anything. I'll eat at the canteen. You go by yourself. The deputy waved his hand dramatically. Come on, let's go. Who's coming with me? In the blink of an eye, the room was empty except for the deputy, who was left feeling frustrated. They didn't run away from that level 2 monster this fast. What a bunch of ungrateful people. Do you even know why I always go to that hangover soup shop? It's because the more crowded the place, the quicker I can catch the rumors. My friends and I go there to mingle with the hunters. I gather a lot of information too. Making connections with others is the real reason I go there. It's definitely not because I go there for the hangover soup. After saying that, I almost slapped myself for how ridiculous it sounded. The deputy, when he gets to a restaurant, is just too happy, shouting, "Give me a delicious hangover soup." Normally, I wouldn't pay attention to the staff, but suddenly today I saw G standing there. While my brother was frozen, G was chatting away enthusiastically. "You want the one with extra chili, right? You came at just the right time. If you were a bit later, you'd have to wait in line." Looking at the apron again, she looked really beautiful, and her hair matched exactly what Sa-Ion described. I asked again, "Excuse me, are you a hunter?" My brother finally snapped out of it. "Yes, please add lots of chili." Looking around, I was sweating, my heart racing in this old shabby place. How could someone so beautiful and handsome be here? It seems he said he was a distant relative of the second cousin of the old lady who owns the hangover soup shop. Apparently, he got lost from his family due to the crack incident. While searching for his lost relatives, he happened to meet the old lady. He had nowhere else to go, so he ended up at her shop. She's the only blood relative he has left in the world. And he stays here to help with the shop's work. The important thing is that with a young person working here, I can enjoy more hangover soup without worrying about the old lady. But usually, young people want to become officials like the hunters, right? Who would want to take on extra work? But it's not like I have to be wary of the old lady anymore yet. Usually, young people want to become civil servants like those hunters, right? Who would want to take on extra work? There's no way you'd find a restaurant like this. His outfit doesn't really match the person Seon mentioned. Just as the hangover soup arrived, B lost all his composure, thinking back to Sion. There's no way to run into a part-time worker at a hangover soup place. Just a casual brush by, it might not even happen. On another note, while Seon was scrolling through his iPad, Jongbin, an S-Rank hunter, came to meet Captain Seon. The data on awakened individuals shouldn't be used for personal purposes. Hearing this, Seon started to piece things together. Cell Minky has been discovered, damn it. Thinking back, how could Minky, ranked 33, outsmart someone like Jongbin, ranked 3? It's a given that the rankings are worlds apart. Seeing Seon still silent, Jongbin awkwardly chuckled and lightly tapped the table. "Lisa, can't you show a little attitude when others are talking?" At that moment, Seon replied, "There's someone who hasn't registered their abilities. They must be at least B rank to walk around like that, and you guys aren't going to check." Jongbin scratched his head, looking skeptical. He knew how strict the laws were regarding the registration of awakened individuals, with fines reaching hundreds of millions. Who would hide their powers without registering? Seon continued scrolling through the images, affirming, "That person doesn't appear in any of the data." The government even proudly boasts about having data on awakened individuals. Jongbin looked very surprised, even doubting it. Seon confirmed once more, "I've checked the entire data 3 times, even down to F-rank hunters. That person not only blocked my attack, but could also knock back the poisonous spikes from the monster. How could someone like that not be registered in Korea? The young man with the oddly styled hair is G. What about Han? Did you dye your hair evenly?" The girl who was studying glanced back at the back of Han's head. Suddenly, G sat down, staring intently at Han's notebook, but he was genuinely curious and asked, "Is the answer to question 1 earthworm?" The girl sensed she was about to get scolded, so she quickly deflected. "Now that I look back, the dye on the back of your neck isn't even. You should go fix it." She was trying to lighten the mood. "All right, I'll go check in the mirror. Here we do question 1. As soon as he entered the bathroom, the young man grumbled, "I just dyed my hair recently. Why is it fading already?" The money spent on dye is ridiculous. I wonder if it's because of my recovery ability. Now the dye doesn't seem to work much anymore. Luckily, I have the skill of a skilled craftsman, or I'd be in trouble. If I didn't work at the hangover soup place, I might have to try applying at a hair salon. Just as he was lost in thought, his phone kept buzzing with notifications. It was a message from Han. "Hey, there's someone outside who looks really strange." Reading this, G was startled. He activated his silent footsteps to peek outside and see what the person at the door was mumbling about. You activated your silent footsteps to peek outside and see what the person at the door was continuously mumbling about. G hurriedly told his niece to hide. After mumbling a few more strange words, this person suddenly slammed their head against G's wall, and at first glance, G recognized that this person was in the same state as Chang. The person he saw last time couldn't stay still anymore. He reminded her that after he went outside, she had to close the door immediately. As soon as he stepped out the door, he punched that strange guy, causing blood to spurt from his mouth in the rain. As he looked up, he chuckled, worried that his niece might hear, so he reminded him, "Just keep your mouth shut. The girl can hear you." He began to consider that if this person was like the one he encountered before, the only way to handle it would be to break their neck and deal with it as quietly as possible, since this guy was continuing to change. And he spat out a lot of sharp spikes at a divine speed. G dodged the first one and immediately grabbed his neck, twisting it with a crack. In the end, this guy lay motionless, but G was quite surprised. What's going on? Isn't this thing supposed to only appear at night? These guys can be recognized at a glance, yet they didn't. Is there any hunter who always mentions this? He continued to search for information about the hedgehog, but there were still no results online and he couldn't find any cases. G thought that Sa-eon told him not to speak about what happened that day. But it turned out that Sa-eon meant G was not allowed to disclose the existence of this thing. He began to feel a bit curious and intrigued. If the information about this thing was controlled and not even exchanged among hunters, then why did he let himself be so easily caught? Did he choose to eliminate himself to prevent the news from spreading? Wouldn't that be more convenient for him? G suddenly jumped when he heard a sniffle from inside the house. As he turned around, he saw his niece peeking out crying softly. To comfort her, G spoke in a gentle, soothing tone. "Can you open the door for Uncle?" The little girl shyly pushed the door open. Jai smiled brightly. "It's okay, there's no one strange around anymore. They've gone far away." Ha-Yoon's eyes were still watery on the verge of tears, showing she was still scared. The girl ran out and hugged G tightly. As he embraced her, he thought to himself, did I let that guy off too easily? After recalling a few images, G tightly shut his eyes and continued to reassure his niece, "It's all okay now." "Are you really scared Uncle will tell the hunters okay? So from now on, there won't be any more of this happening." Ha-Yoon believed her uncle's words and nodded vigorously, even sniffling as she reminded him to tell Jongbin and Honeybee too. G, sweating a bit, thought to himself, this might be a bit tricky. But he still replied, "Yeah, sure. First, let me wash my hair to get rid of the dye. I'll be right back." "Is that okay?" Ha-Yoon answered honestly. "Yes, it actually smells a bit." G felt a bit embarrassed. "You have to be clear, it's the dye smell. Otherwise, others might misunderstand." He hadn't even stepped into the house yet. G paused as he sensed something unusual right behind him. A few days later, Sion was moving towards the research room, and as he arrived, someone was already there to greet him. "You're here." Team leader Sion cracked his neck and asked, "Where's Nam Gujin?" "He's in the operating room." "Let me go report to him." Both moved into the operating room, and the young man in the doctor's coat peeked in, announcing, "Professor Lisa is here." Nam Gujin turned to face him. "I see you've been busy lately. I thought I'd have to wait for you for 3 hours. But you got here pretty quickly." Sion got straight to the point. "I understand you're busy, so just tell me." After flicking the towel, Nam Gujin replied to Sion, "Of course. Look at this poisoned person." Under the cloth lay the one who had appeared at G's door and had been dealt with by him. Sayong removed the mask, grimacing at the terrible condition. Nam Gujin said according to Jongbin that since the body was discovered, it had been in this state. In fact, the insides are crushed due to a tremendous impact. But looking back, Sayong felt a bit uneasy. It seemed he didn't die for this reason. With a snap of his fingers, Nam Gujin replied, "That's right. The actual cause was due to a broken neck, you know that. The bodies of those poisoned have been enhanced to the point where even if we break their bones, we still can't control them with normal strength. So how could someone break the neck of a poisoned person?" Sayong began to speculate that a hunter might have handled it. Controlling with normal strength is one thing, but how could anyone break the neck of someone poisoned? He began to speculate that some hunter had dealt with it. Nam looked utterly helpless again. "I told you so. Since the discovery of the body, it has been in this state." The locals saw it and informed us. Sion, curious about where this was found, looked down at the kid below and said, "That's a bit intriguing to me." The kid glanced at the board and said to Sion, "Do you see a very familiar location? It's the trash sorting area near the alley where we previously found the person who was poisoned, and there's something else special. Look at this. This is the first time I've seen sharp thorns shaped like this. It seems to have suddenly collided with something extremely hard. Have you ever seen anything like it?" Sion suddenly recalled G's image from their last meeting and thought to himself that he had searched through all the data but still couldn't find anything, so he assumed he had disappeared. No trace could be found. "Finally, I've caught a lead. In life, there will be days when the moment you open your eyes, you'll feel incredibly uneasy." G was in that state. With a tired and disheveled state, the young man was completely drained of energy. "What's going on? If I feel this sluggish, that's not good." The moment he looked at the clock, he suddenly froze and jumped up. "Nelson, check my luck today." After hearing his voice, the phone began to analyze, checking the luck level for today. Today, you might get hurt even just from a falling leaf. So be cautious about everything and always be aware of the dangerous factors threatening your safety, which are everywhere no matter what it is. You shouldn't take things lightly. You have to check thoroughly and confirm multiple times. G, after hearing this, put on his shirt and thought, what the hell, this is information about today's luck. Or is it a warning about an impending murder? The next reminder continues hoping you'll be very careful and cautious throughout today. This afternoon, you might have an exciting encounter. You should try going out in the afternoon and see. After hearing a bunch of nonsense, G tightened his pants and thought, the content today is still extremely bad luck. Today is not a good day. I have to be careful. Just after arriving at the shop, Sion came over and greeted with a very casual name, almost as if he was intentionally provoking G to get him mad. Hey there, Hyung, I got the letter you sent. G was taken aback, his face showing a big question mark. Seeing G say nothing, Sion continued, Are you wearing a different apron today? It suits you well. G was really curious why Sion appeared here. The atmosphere in the shop began to fill with whispers at Sion's appearance. Sion is eating out. He's someone who absolutely never eats out. Is he the one who said he wouldn't show up anywhere? There are too many people, right? Even if he occasionally joins the gatherings, what's the point of coming to this place? Is life really that boring that he has to come to such a shabby store? Hearing this just makes me more curious about what that kid is really like. What on earth did he do to get so many people talking? Captain Ben chuckled at this, trying to lighten the tense atmosphere. Let's sit at that table over there, shall we? Ha ha, Sion continued without saying a word. Heading straight to the central table, G reluctantly greeted them, sticking to his duty as a staff member. Excuse me, this table hasn't been cleaned yet. Would you like to sit at another table? Facing G, Sion spoke in a tone that was annoyingly sweet. Yeah, take your time cleaning. I like this spot to watch TV. G struggled to suppress his anger. Ah, yes, the customer is always right. The phrase kept echoing in G's head, reminding him not to mess up and get himself in trouble. Sion continued to ask what was on the menu here. But G replied that they only had the hangover soup. The kid suddenly piped up, Hey, if this place only sells hangover soup, then what else would you expect? I told you that before we came here. Sion twisted his words back. If it's just hangover soup, then how do you run a business? He was about to lose it. So he said coldly, If you keep complaining, I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to leave. At this point, G switched to a polite tone. Ha ha, we'll have 2 bowls of hangover soup. G went inside his face, darkening as he prepared. Since you're a regular, I'll let it slide this time. As soon as he entered the kitchen, he sighed. Even if I glare at him, it won't solve anything. No matter how much I dislike him, he's still a customer. He's here to eat and pay like everyone else. After reminding himself a few philosophical thoughts, G found his calm again and stabilized his spirit. Finally, the 2 bowls of hangover soup were cooked and served. Your order is ready. There are currently many anonymous comments online about the Pato team regarding the information that Sion had paid $1.5 million for the hangover soup. So he comes here to eat every day. G even posted about how Sion was hindering his business and asked for advice from all netizens on how to handle this situation. Should I report this annoying harassment to the police or the management department? G muttered while checking his phone, thinking about the somewhat well-known hunters. As long as you have proof, the management department's hunters will come to handle it immediately. After reading this, G stretched out in frustration. Damn it if I report it. It'll be hard to resolve quietly. And what? Just give the first letter of the name. If that's the case, half of South Korea would know who it is. What's more, being at the top means every move is scrutinized. If it leads to a war between those who curse and those who are grateful, it's a disaster. Thinking about it makes my head hurt. Since that day, Sion has been coming every day to stalk me. Still, I have to force a bright smile and greet him like a valued guest. Inside, I'm really uncomfortable. What the hell is this? It's clear he's intentionally disrupting my business. Every time that kid comes, the surrounding customers don't dare to sit anymore. To resolve this, I either have to go back to being a hunter, or I need to have more money. If I want Sion to be condemned by society, I need solid evidence. If the evidence isn't enough, I could easily be counterattacked. On the contrary, the most accurate way is to record all of Sion's actions and post them publicly. But he's an S-Rank hunter, so if I use a regular recording device or camera, he'll catch on right away. That means I need to use equipment made from dungeon items so it won't be easily destroyed, or I need a hidden recorder that's hard to detect. I started looking up prices online, but in the end I only stopped at the research stage because it was too expensive. Back in the day when everyone knew about these things, I couldn't even remember how much they cost anymore. These days, inflating prices to hundreds of millions is just ridiculous. Poor young people like me can only scratch their heads. I've been too busy with life to ever buy any luxury items. Today, I began to consider registering as a hunter, but then I thought better of it because it seemed too risky. Things are different now compared to before. They have a whole department managing awakened individuals, and I hope that my data hasn't been deleted by chance. If it's still there, then it's just a matter of eating shit instead of food. Even if I don't worry about that, I still can't control my power. I'm afraid I might break the measuring device, which would be even worse. To put it bluntly in that moment, My peaceful hidden life would be over. Just thinking about it makes my head spin and I feel even more frustrated. If it weren't for that little brat, I would have... It shouldn't be this headache-inducing. G opened the space storage and took out a sparkling stone. Back in the day, I didn't use these magical stones for anything, so I just tossed them into a corner recently. It seems like they use them here and there a lot. Maybe I should sell one. I think I'll have enough money to buy a nice recording device. If I can sell it on the hunter's market, that would be even better, but to sell there, I need a hunter's registration card. But when I tried to reopen my account on the old Tomato platform, it said the system was unavailable. Looks like my old account is gone. The young man decided to create a new account from scratch. After thinking about a nickname, he decided to name himself EZ. Hey EZ, welcome to Tomato Market. 2. Please turn on your location to register your area. G started fiddling with taking the best possible picture of the stone to post it for 80,000,000. I wonder if it will sell. In the end, the young man settled on the price, selling it with a description. This is a high-purity magical stone, rare and hard to find. Please contact via chat to negotiate for purchase. G began to think about what he would do with the money. Once I sell it, I'll buy a coat for Grandma in Hayun. I'll even pay for Grandma's leg surgery, too. Suddenly, the phone rang loudly, vibrating continuously. I thought my phone was broken. G jumped and opened it to see hundreds of comments. They were bickering, and some even threatened to report him to the management department if G was scamming. As he read, his mouth fell open in shock. The price of the magical stone is higher than I thought. I only posted it to set a price based on my standards. How much has the world changed? The phone kept ringing to the point of dizziness. He decided to log out and delete the damn account right then and there. A comment questioned. I'm curious why EZ deleted that account. G firmly replied, others took advantage of my post too much, so I encountered some bad players. Another reason is that it was our first conversation and they cursed at me. They're truly scumbags. G felt overwhelmed and wanted to escape from this horrible world. It's not over yet. The news about someone posting a magical stone for 80,000,000 for sale spread across the internet, including the fact that he deleted his account just 2 minutes later. People began buzzing with comments about how to catch a monster of that level to get a magical stone of grade A. So you have to catch a boss monster from a dungeon level 2 or higher. But according to the photo, that stone has a very high purity, indicating it must be from a level 1 dungeon monster. Everyone was even more surprised by this information and continued to discuss it. So the person who posted must be a very high-ranking hunter. Just looking at the photo, you can tell it's a grade A magical stone. Is that possible? Is that so? This stone has even caught the attention of Hong Is-sung, who posted about it on Instagram, asking about something so precious. Why post it on Hanger Market instead of Tomato Market? The Instagram post specifically says, easy, I don't know who you are, but just throw out a price. I'll come by it right away. Meanwhile, in a remote mountainous area, for some reason there's Wi-Fi. Hong Is-sung is shaking and going crazy while holding his phone. He screams, give me that stone. Hong Is-sung is ranked 7th in South Korea and is a unique S-class creator with the nickname The Oddball. After reading the information, Hong Is-sung keeps flailing around like a madman. Hey, Mr. Hong Is-sung, you can't look at anything. Oh my gosh, please find me that stone. Jong-bin, sitting next to him, laughs in a confusing way. When did this village start getting Wi-Fi this time before bringing him here? Don't you guys cut off the internet? A female manager leans in and whispers, of course we cut it off. But Lisa Eon has restored all the communication and Wi-Fi for him. After that, he promised to take on the task of making the gloves. Consider it the price to pay for using the internet. Jong-bin looks at Hong Is-sung's struggle and feels frustrated. That guy is really no help at all. This crafting session is over, and you cut the internet off for me, okay? Hong Is-sung still ignores everything and struggles harder. I have to go to Seoul. Give me that stone. Jong-bin, too annoyed, just shows him the screen. Seriously, you're the one who insisted on coming all the way to Jiri Mountain to work. Do you know the deadline is almost up? You won't be leaving here. Before finishing all the weapons, Hong Is-sung finally stops struggling. He has a characteristic of being a deadline finisher. The closer he gets to the deadline, the higher his productivity becomes and the speed of completion quickens. If he crafts an item right when his skill is activated, it will help increase the item's quality by 50%. Hong Is-sung also has another trait: he loves to procrastinate. No matter what he does, he wants to delay it a lot. Hong Is-sung gets furious and calls Jong-bin, the responsible staff. Hey, look at this stone. If we craft a weapon with this magic stone, then the weapon should at least reach S rank. Just looking at the picture, I can already feel that. Zombie, upon hearing this, is also stunned. All the equipment created so far has only reached the highest rank of S, yet he claims that using that magic stone will create an S-rank weapon. Zombie starts to think and investigate the seller of the stone, who has a mysterious background, until he reaches Jiri Mountain and hears about him. The stone belongs to a type that has never been traded anywhere in the country, so it must be a stolen item from somewhere to be sold. But someone with extremely great abilities like Hong Ai-sung can confirm its quality just by looking at it. Where did this stone suddenly come from? Could it be related to what Sa-Ion mentioned before? Looking down, Hong Ai-sung continues to roll around. Jongbin asks, "First, listen to me. This stone is extremely good, right?" "Of course. Just by looking at it, you can tell it's on a completely different level of premium quality compared to the mixed impurities or the toxic stuff from monsters, I'm telling you." "Just hand me that stone, will you?" Jongbin continued to be curious, "So you can shape it, huh? Who could possibly find that stone?" "Right!" With a grumbling tone, Hong Ai-sung replied that at the very least that person must be in the top 100. Jongbin continued among the top-ranked. Usually no one leaves traces like a rookie. They wouldn't participate in buying and selling, right? In a gloomy state, Hong Ai-sung murmured, "It's not like it's stupid. There's a black market and even a hanger market, yet they posted on the tomato market. What are they thinking?" Just like that, Hong Ai-sung rolled over and shouted, "I'm at Jiri Mountain. How can I check the tomato market all the way in Seoul? Next time, just take me to lock me up in North Korea." Jongbin teased back, "All right, got it. I'll report to the chief about the next exile location you choose, which is North Korea, and I'll try to find that magic stone." At this moment, Hong Ai-sung paused and became a bit quiet, while Jongbin smiled brightly as if to affirm, "Yes, with effort, iron can be ground down to a needle." In another development, Ji was working very hard but kept feeling itchy looking outside, and today at noon, suddenly the ion didn't come. It made him feel very happy and peaceful, but outside it was noisy and crowded. Everyone was talking about the post on HanaNet from yesterday. "I heard there's some crazy guy selling A-grade magic stones on the tomato market for 80 million. The teams are all in chaos, feeling quite helpless as they called him a madman." There were continued discussions outside, wondering if it was a scam post. It's possible he downloaded a picture from the internet and posted it. Hey Hong Ai-sung said he would make weapons for anyone who finds that stone for free, even offering a cash prize. Ji couldn't help but be surprised. "I don't understand why they're making such a big deal out of this. They even offered a cash prize, something Ji had always thought of as junk and tossed aside. The discussions grew louder about buying it for 80 million. Then just resell it and make a few hundred million, right? It would be great if that easy guy posted again, but it seems like he deleted the post. And he deleted his account, too. What's with the bait and then pulling back? Register the account again right away. I was planning to go to the seafood market today to ask the mackerel to find it. I wonder if the mackerel can find it. If not, then I'll lose the title of the most informed person in Korea." Ji saw how much they valued the stone and broke into a sweat. Back then, he used to take magic stones out to play marbles, thinking they were useless. It turns out that even 15 can change mountains and rivers. Those magic stones in the past were items that only those who truly needed them would buy. First, they were collectibles for the rich. Secondly, they were trophies for hunters. But during the time he was locked in the dungeon, science and technology developed rapidly. According to research results, magic stones differ from energy sources like coal or oil. They are not destroyed by the environment, so humans can harness energy from them. They can effectively extract gold from those magical stones that are discarded. Ji just accidentally posted something for sale. The rumor has spread so much that you're feeling dizzy. Check out Hong Ai-sung's post on Instagram. It's gone totally viral with over 500,000 likes. This crazy guy is just helpless. What am I going to do about him? If I keep playing dead, he might just post more on Instagram and add fuel to the fire, but I haven't sold the stone yet, so it's a bit tricky. Thinking about your grandmother's leg, which still doesn't have enough funds for treatment, makes you even more anxious. Just then, Jongbin walks in casually. "Hello, the moment you look up, Ji accidentally sprays Jongbin, who is still checking out the situation. Ji is panicking, not understanding how Jongbin found his way here. Some people enjoying the hangover soup are also feeling annoyed. Seriously, who are they trying to catch? Come on, show yourself." Seeing everyone in such a fuss, Jongbin waves his hands defensively. "I'm not here for work. I just came to have dinner. I just got back from a business trip." With a heart pounding, Ji activates his poker face skill, hoping Jongbin won't recognize him. After all, in the military, he only knew Ji from the past when he wore a mask. Keeping himself as calm as possible, Ji politely invites Jongbin to take a seat. "Please have a seat. Are you here alone?" "Yes, I'm alone. Just check the menu on the wall and order whenever you're ready." Ji gets startled again when Sion shows up. Upon seeing Jongbin, Sion also looks surprised. What a strange coincidence. Why is a government official here? This is my territory. Ji feels annoyed. He thought Jongbin wouldn't come today yet. Here he is, not missing a single day. Jongbin smiles warmly. Of course I'm here for dinner. I didn't expect to see you here, Sion. Sion hesitates. I didn't think you'd be here either. Just like that, the two of them sit at the same table chatting lively. Jongbin starts, I have something to discuss with you. But we shouldn't talk about personal matters in public like this. Hey, can we exchange contact information? Also, the department head said I must pay the compensation amount from before. Jongbin immediately pulls out a spatial item from his hidden space, glancing around. That's an item to block the space, right? Right after that, they have a secret conversation to avoid being overheard. Jongbin mentions the Captain Sion, the one who didn't register before. Did you find him yet? Oh, I meant to ask if you found him already, right? A spatial blocking item is often used when discussing confidential matters, but if the listener is of a higher rank than the item, they can still penetrate the protective layer to hear what's inside. Because of that, Ji is currently eavesdropping on their conversation. Jongbin asks Sion, do you know that someone has been selling A-grade magical stones on Tomato Market recently? Sion sits back casually and replies, if I didn't know about that, I might as well quit being a hunter. If I didn't know about that, I would have retired from being a hunter already. Jongbin forced a smile. Do you know that Hong Ai-sung is sulking and insisting on getting that magic stone? It's because of someone we all know who connected the internet for him, making it easy for him to act like that. Sion shrugged, pretending to be innocent. Well, I have a hunch about Jongbin's tense expression, so let me just share my conclusion. I guess the person you're looking for is the owner of that stone. If they can get their hands on such a high-level magic stone, they must be in the top 100 rankings. Naturally, the top-ranked individuals would use it. Hanger market, because both the seller's and buyer's identities need to be verified for a large transaction to be safe. If we talk about commission fees and taxes, it adds up. Hanger market is indeed a bit pricey for civil servants, but there's another way to sell it on the black market. No need to waste time posting on a popular app. Even ordinary people can see it, so if you want to sell quietly, there are at least 10 other ways to do it. So why did that person post the magic stone for sale on Tomato Market? And at such a low price, it could be that the seller doesn't have a certification as a hunter. That's why they had to use the Tomato Market platform. There are only two possibilities. Either that person is an ordinary person or an unregistered amateur hunter. However, I think the chance of an ordinary person owning a magic stone of that level is almost zero. At this point, my conclusion is that the one holding such a high-level magic stone can only be an extremely skilled hunter who hasn't registered, which is exactly who you, Lee Seon, are looking for. Ji stood outside, sweating. They were indeed very sharp. Thank goodness I overheard this conversation. Otherwise, it would have been a disaster. From now on, I need to be more careful in everything I do. Suddenly, Sion glanced back and Ji's heart raced. It felt like Sion knew he was eavesdropping. In the conversation between Jongbin and Sion remained silent, making Jongbin feel like his words were ineffective. After a while, Sion finally responded, It's nothing. What if it's another unregistered hunter? Zombie continued saying there will soon be a weapon auction created by Hong Yi-sung, and those with real power will return to Korea, but those people can't cause such a stir. Because whether they come or go, they do so quietly. Seon continued to assert that a new S-level hunter awakened a few months ago. Who knows, it could be that person. Even if he tried to deny it, Jongbin was obviously dating that person. You know that. The girl isn't of legal age yet and is in an important study phase, so she doesn't have time for that. Besides, she's not a hunter and doesn't fight. Seon hesitated. I heard that girl is in her last year of high school, right? Jongbin snapped his fingers. Yes, so when she has free time, she works part-time to prepare for exams. I don't know what else to say. Seon continued to defend herself. Well, let's say that's true, but I still haven't found that person. Jongbin paused. If you still haven't found him by now, then Seon replied, well, what if that person is planning to set a trap to deceive suspicious individuals? Jongbin hesitated, realizing it made sense. That possibility couldn't be ruled out. If you find this person, you must contact me, okay? Finally, it was time for the shop to close. Ji was exhausted, slumped over, and had a headache. Jongbin hesitated because it made sense. Indeed, that possibility couldn't be ruled out if he found this person. Then you must contact me, okay? Finally, it was time for the shop to close. Ji was exhausted, slumped over, and had a headache. Why do I have the feeling this is going to keep happening? Plus, before leaving and paying, Jongbin was really showing off. I'll be coming here often. Just thinking about it gives me a headache. I just want to curse and please don't come back here anymore. Why do you all have to go to the alcohol detox shop anyway? Is this place not enough of a Lisa Ion zone already? Now we have a Jongbin zone, too. Just when I was lost in thought, someone knocked on the door, none other than Lisa Ion. Jay immediately showed clear disdain for us closing the shop. "Please go home," Lisa Ion insisted. "I'm still trying to open the door. I have something to say." Ji complained again. "I told you it's past closing time." Sa Young insisted, "You better listen to me if you don't want to see Jung Bin again tomorrow." Ji, frustrated, slammed his hand against the wall. "It's you, isn't it? You called Jung Bin here." Sa Eon retorted, "Clearly it was the deer who called him here." Ji snapped back, "You mean he came looking for me? I'm not stupid, I know what you mean." Sa Eon feigned innocence, spreading his hands in confusion. "If Hyung hadn't dropped that bombshell at Tomato Market, he would never have come all the way here." Right after that, it was Ji's turn to play dumb. "What are you talking about? How is Tomato Market related to me? No matter who comes looking, just pretend like that. You have to hide it well, okay? If you don't open the door, I'll make it melt right away." Ji, frustrated, clenched his fists. "I'll report you to the management." Sa-Ion stubbornly replied, "You always make me feel so left out." With no other choice, Ji reluctantly opened the door with a displeased, grimacing face, and as soon as he stepped inside, Sa-Eon took off his mask. "Those people will keep coming to find you." Dai crossed his arms and smirked. "Don't say creepy things like that." Sa-Yong shot back with a glance. "Is that so? Why didn't you post it on places like the Old Goods World when you were selling? You really have a talent for making a big deal out of nothing, and you even posted it on the special tomato market. That's how this mess happened." Jay kept acting and denying, "I told you it wasn't me." Sa-Yong could only point. "Then I won't confirm it's you. Let's just say I'm talking about that crazy person who posted a magical stone for sale on Tomato Market." Dewey didn't dare look him in the eye, but still warned Sa-Eon to be careful with his words. People wouldn't know unless they did that. They must be regretting it a lot by now. "So you're just going to keep giving me that look and mumble through this, huh? You don't seem to regret anything considering you ate 5,000 bowls more than me, yet you're speaking so formally. Come on, just drop the attitude and be quiet already. I need your advice on something. I know someone who made a huge mistake, but they have no idea how serious it is and can't even imagine the consequences. The mistake seems to be more serious than they think, and they're surrounded by a bunch of people right now. Se-Yong is also paying close attention and listening, but wow, that's not good. So my friend wants to resolve their inner turmoil as quietly as possible so that no one knows simply because they want to live a peaceful life." Se-Yong chuckles lightly. "Oh, so you want to live in peace, huh? I really like that idea. Let's make a deal. The mistake you made, I'll handle it neatly. Just tell me what you want right now." Se-Yong leaned in quickly. "I want him." Hyung-ji's face paled as Se-Yong continued, "Someone capable but not affiliated with any organization. Plus, I'm looking for someone a bit discreet, someone few people know better, yet the fewer the better. I thought I might have to give up because I couldn't find anyone suitable. Just then, you appeared like fate. I've tried to find information about you, but even the high school you attended or the area around your house, I couldn't find anything. No information at all. It was like everything was sucked into a crack. I heard your parents have both passed away. On the day the crack opened, you had no living relatives, so I couldn't find anything. I looked to see if you ever signed a work contract anywhere. But there were no contracts, no bank transactions, and your phone number was only registered a few months ago. I couldn't find any of your previous information. That old shopkeeper and her granddaughter aren't really your relatives, are they? They're all strangers to you." "That's spot on. I don't even know how to respond, just grinding my teeth and clenching my fists as Se-Yong continued, "Honestly, I couldn't find any information about you at all. I was actually planning to meet all your demands to recruit you to my team. But clearly right now, the only thing that matters to you is this shop, right, Hyung? Do you want anything?" Faced with this question, Ji bluntly replied that he had nothing. Se-Yong moved closer. "Then let me suggest this." Then Se-Yong pulled out an iPad from his space storage and started tapping. "Do you know Namgu Jin? He's an A-level hacker." Ji was startled. He's the only helicopter in South Korea currently ranked 6th in the country, the captain of Team Cell 1 and nicknamed the Librarian. Min Hye seemed to have caught on to all of Ji's desires. "What do you think about getting Namgu Jin treated?" "I can't help you anymore." Ji seemed quite surprised, then continued, "Tell me your grandmother's leg is hurting, right?" He still maintained a look of astonishment. A level A healer that ordinary people can't meet is actually going to treat a commoner. You should make more sense. Sayan appeared very confident in his previous statement, saying that since Juan and Pato have a partnership, I could ask him for treatment. Before awakening, he was an orthopedic surgeon, so he would understand the condition well. "What do you think, Ji? You seem more agreeable now, so you replied to Sayan. What's your reason for investigating every detail about someone just to find their weaknesses and exploit them? You even baited me. What's your real reason for wanting to pull me in? If I refuse today, you'll probably go around claiming I'm a hunter? You've awakened, right? Be clear about what you want. Sion narrowed his eyes, admitting, I've considered that approach too. But if it's just plain intimidation, that's not a good way. Because if you do that, you'll conclude that I'm saying we can't walk the same path. Do you remember that guy you saw on our first day? There's a strange drug that started circulating a few years ago. Normally, drugs for ordinary people and narcotics can't affect those who have awakened. But strangely, that one causes extremely violent reactions, increasing aggression, poisoning the user, and altering their body. G seemed quite surprised to hear this information. Just using drugs can lead to that. Sion shrugged and replied, that's the troublesome part. In short, I'm tracking down the mastermind supplying this drug. But both I and the team members are too well known. So the deeper we infiltrate, the more leads get cut off. That's why we can't just send any member. That person would either be eliminated by them or become addicted to the drugs like they are. G began to think that if we're talking about the ability to defeat those who are poisoned, then I do meet the conditions that Sion mentioned, but he hasn't explained how I should find those people. From what I've observed so far, he definitely isn't acting in the name of justice. Why does he need to find those people? Seeing G standing there frozen, Sion smiled and said, you need to make a deal with me before I tell you. Honestly, matters related to drugs need to be confidential, so I have to keep that a secret. Otherwise, Yongbin will come looking for me. G continued to stand there, thinking that this kid is trying to bait me by revealing secrets to bind me, right? Sion then patted G on the shoulder and reminded him, think carefully. Okay. G was startled and switched to a dismissive tone. You should leave. I still have to close the shop. Sion remained there, extending his hand, not knowing what for. It turned out he wanted G to give him his phone to save his number. G then frowned, looking annoyed. You don't need to, but my number is really valuable. Okay, G, I'll threaten to sell your number at Tomato Market. Sion just laughed. If that's the case, I'll have to meet you often. Since that day, G hasn't seen Sion again, and the unfortunate word Sion spat out became a prophecy right after that day. Since that day, G hadn't seen Sion anymore, and the unfortunate word Sion spat out had turned into a prophecy right after that day. There are so many people calling the shop, the phone keeps ringing. Yes, this is the alcohol detox shop. Hello, I'm reporter Kim So-Ion from MBB Television. Can you answer the phone? G tried to stay calm and replied, I'm sorry we don't do food delivery. On the other end, a guy said, I'm not calling for delivery. I'm calling to see if you're interested. Do you want to appear on television? Our show is called Line 1 2-day airing at 7 p.m. every day of the week. G had declined, but they kept pushing. If your shop gets promoted as a favorite among hunters, it would be very beneficial for your business. G seemed to be losing his patience. I don't need this. My shop is busy, so I'm hanging up. I get calls like this every day. Once a few people even came here to film random stuff, but were caught by G. Hey, guest, turn off that camera you have in your pocket. Filming without permission is illegal. After being caught red-handed, the guest kept denying it. What camera? Where did you see it? The hunters in the shop were furious. Hey, you little brat. Oh, we can hear the camera running, you know. How dare he underestimate the hearing of hunters? The hunters stood up, exposing the guy's face as a YouTuber known for making videos that defame celebrities. Once he realized he was exposed, he bolted out of there. The hunters were still upset. If they didn't catch him, at least 2 people here would end up in the tabloids. What are we waiting for? Let's catch that brat. Such incidents kept happening repeatedly. Just when everyone was about to forget, the old story would resurface. According to Hong Yi-sung's Instagram post, he even received a surprise package. This place was hot, and now it was even hotter, a letter from Jongbin with the words, really delicious. Suddenly receiving Jongbin's signature like this made Ji lose all his vigilance. He had to pay attention to every little detail. After all, material things determine consciousness. Just looking at this beautifully written signature, Ji saw money. If it was Jongbin's signature, it was worth a lot. Maybe I should just sell this signature on Tomato, but never mind. I don't want to be bombarded with messages again. After some struggle, Ji stuck that paper on the wall. Just when things were settling down, another character appeared, an A-level hunter ranked 5th in South Korea. Known by the nickname Honeybee, she had just stopped in front of the shop when someone shouted "Wasp," making her extremely angry. She almost slapped that guy. While still trying to figure out why the 5th-ranked hunter was here, she yelled, "Lisa Ion, come out!" Ji now understood the reason. Indeed, this kid So-Ion caused a lot of trouble. Ji felt Honeybee's gaze fixed on him, and she turned to ask if there was a problem. Ji continued to be stunned. She genuinely didn't know what the issue was, which is why she asked. Luckily, she knew how to speak gently to ordinary people. Because of that, G immediately took on the role of a calm and gentle guy and asked her, "Are you Honeybee?" "Wow, I'm really a fan of yours. You act deep, but actually your niece is the real fan." Immediately, Honeybee showed off and took her hair tie off, leaving G stunned. "I don't get how she can perform like that for you." "Well, first, let's just go along with it and act like a hardcore fan." Spending time on such silly antics made G feel embarrassed and even more annoyed at that kid So-Ion. "Well, for now, let's just go along and pretend to be a hardcore fan." Spending time doing such silly things made G feel embarrassed, and he was even more annoyed with that name, Lisa Ion. "I swear if he shows up, I'll grab him and slap him hard. So you're a fan of mine, huh? I'm sorry for dropping by your shop so suddenly. I must have startled you, right?" Dai pretended to wave his hand. "Oh, it's fine." Haneb pretended to scratch his head. "Oh, I'm really sorry. Earlier, I couldn't control my anger, and before he could finish, there was a grumbling sound from outside. Who parked their motorcycle like this, Honeybee, couldn't stay calm for more than a few seconds before she started yelling, "You crazy person, get your hands off that bike right now." After hearing that, she froze, realizing it was her beloved Iron Horse. "Is this how you park?" As soon as she recognized someone she knew, she quickly headed for the door. "Son, did you come alone?" Lisa and Mr. Wang-gu seemed embarrassed. "I told her not to call me by my hunter nickname, so please just call me by my real name." Honeybee stubbornly continued to look around. "Lisa, aren't you coming with him?" Bae-Gun-gu appeared serious. I'm curious about what she plans to say. "First, let's order some food. Can we talk about the main issue now?" Honeybee reluctantly entered with a rather unusual attitude. "Anyway, I need to calm down first." "What do we have here?" Bae-Gun-gu ordered as a habit. "Give me a detox soup with lots of green chili." Honeybee chimed in, ordering just like G. Before even stepping inside, Bae-Gun-gu directly asked the main issue. "Go ahead, what do you want to say?" "Why do you need to meet Ji-yeon? What does he want now?" "The magic stone is being sold on Tomato Market, you know that, right?" Ji switched to eavesdropping mode, perked up her ears, and Haneb continued, "I really need that magic stone." Bae-Gun-gu smirked. "Is that so?" Hearing the tone there was a hint of sarcasm. Haneb continued, "Whoever brings that stone to meet Hong A-sung will turn it into a weapon for them." "I really need an S-level weapon." Bae-Gun-gu sighed. "Oh, right, your usual weapon is broken, isn't it?" Ji flinched at the familiar name. "Remember back in the day when I had to deal with SML Hong E-sung several times?" Honeybee continued boasting confidently. "I heard the ranking system is about to be updated after finding the magic stone for Hong E-sung. I'll ask him to craft my own specialized S-level weapon. By then, when the rankings are rearranged, I'll definitely win. I've planned everything perfectly. That's why I blew up the photo of the magic stone to see if there were any reflections in it. Besides that, I also sent the photo for analysis to find out what kind of phone was used to take the picture. The paper used as a background for the stone photo was also examined closely. I'm analyzing what kind of paper it is. I'm putting all my effort into extracting data from that photo down to the nano level to make a judgment." G was left speechless after hearing this. Even B1-gu was astonished to that extent. Clearly, that crazy Lisa blocked me right when I was about to find out all the information. And what else? Out of sheer anger, Haneb slammed his fist down on the table, then suddenly worried if he had damaged it. I was really lucky that Bae-Gun-gu stopped his punch. Otherwise, I would have had to pay for the damage. Haneb sighed in relief and continued to thank me, saying that's why I had to come all the way here. Bae-Gun-gu looked confused and asked back, "But what does EZ and our team have to do with this?" Haneb replied gruffly, "If you don't know, then who else would?" G, standing in the kitchen, could only listen silently and thought to himself that it was related, but it was about his captain, not his team. After finishing the meal, Honeybee happily held up a big piece of paper and walked over to G, calling out, "Hey, staff member, I have a gift for you." As soon as he opened the paper, he saw Honeybee's huge face along with Jay's signature, and he was stunned for 5 seconds while Honeybee just laughed, saying, "I saw that earlier." "You put everyone's signatures on the wall, right? That's my special gift to you. You can put my signature up there, too." Bae-Gun-gu thought G was really a fan of hers and exclaimed, "Oh, so you're a big fan of Honeybee, huh? Wow, you must come here often." They say they're a fan of yours in this moment of desperation. G just wanted that guy to shut up while Honeybee confidently declared, "Well, even though I'm very busy, I can still make time to come again." G stood there wishing from the bottom of his heart that they wouldn't come back here again, but remembering his niece who was crazy about Honeybee, he reminded himself to stop cursing them. Just as they returned, Bae-Gun-gu, the vice captain, swung the door open and scolded Sion, "You skipped another meal, didn't you? That's just how people are. Living means having a love for food. You've been eating properly lately, haven't you? So why suddenly not eat today? There's an official notice from the Awakening Management Bureau. They will urgently summon those on the list." Please cooperate, Sion, moving his legs as if nodding. Baeon-gu was used to this and understood. Okay, the dungeon at Jongro Station number 3 will be our team's responsibility. The advanced team will go first to clear it, then the research team will come in later to investigate the resources in the dungeon, and the Cell 1 team told us to choose a day for them to come meet us. Sion remained still and only replied by wiggling his leg. Baeon-gu suddenly cleared his throat. Is that all that's urgent? Also, I think I should go shoot a commercial or something. At that moment, Sayong was a bit startled, and Baeon-gu continued. That kid, the staff member at the liquor store, turns out to be a fan of Hanab. I thought he had no interest in hunters. Indeed, you can't underestimate people with high public recognition. This data is important enough and attractive enough for Sayong to immediately jump up saying, "What did you say?" Baeon-gu looked confused. I said we can't underestimate public recognition. Coming from those public commercials. Not before that. Baeon-gu still didn't understand and replied, I'm going to shoot a commercial. Sion, annoyed, shouted, Damn it, are you really that stupid or just pretending not to understand? After being scolded, B1-gu felt hurt and almost cried. Hey, did anyone do anything? Did anyone touch me? Sion patiently asked again. You said the staff at the store did something. Oh, the staff at the store, huh? He's a fan of Honeybee. Honeybee personally signed a poster just for him. I guess I need to follow her example and do some fan service too. Seon no longer wanted to lie still and immediately ordered him to call the marketing team leader up here. Baeon-gu's eyes lit up at the thought of going to shoot a commercial. Seon ripped off his mask and urged Baeon-gu to hurry up. Ji was working when he saw a message from Sion telling him to turn on CBS. Ji glanced up at the TV and thought, It's been a while since he last came here and now he suddenly wants me to turn on CBS. As soon as it was on, he saw Honeybee's image in a commercial. Ji scratched his head, not understanding anything. Surely he didn't mean for me to watch Honeybee's ad, right? What was the next program? Right after that was another commercial. It opened with a little girl and a puppy. Sion in a mask also stepped out. Ji was frozen in place while the TV continued to play. If you want to register as a hunter, please call the hotline 777. If you want to report an unregistered hunter or report a hunter's criminal behavior, please call 555. The Bureau of Awakening is always with you. The TV continuously emitted the sound of machine guns along with reminders that sounded like warnings. After awakening your abilities, regardless of the special reason, if you do not register with the Bureau within a month, you will be fined up to 100 million. We kindly ask those who have awakened their abilities to visit the registration centers in each area to fulfill this community service registration. A small body stood in the crowded shop gripping his hands tightly like this. Isn't that like saying, if you don't register, you might as well commit suicide? The phone rang again, another message from Sion. Hyung, have you seen it? I heard you like those who appear in commercials. Reading this, Ji was once again stunned, thinking, what the hell, this crazy person? Meanwhile, Jong-bin remained silent in the room. Hearing the clock tick away, the captain asked, Do you want some snacks? You must be tired since you have to work the night shift, right? Jong-bin smiled and asked the staff, Yes, please get me an energy snack. Finally, the time to announce the rankings that hunters have been eagerly waiting for is approaching. In 12 minutes, they will be able to see the new rankings. The TV is currently showing a special segment. There's only one time a year when the system compiles information about the strength and activity levels of hunters to create a new ranking order. I wonder how the system will rank them this time. I'm really curious. The male host on the TV screen seemed very excited. The method of calculating the rankings, although not fully disclosed, we all know it's not just based on rank but also on the hunter's level of activity. Because of that, a rank A hunter can have a higher ranking than a rank S hunter. Over the past year, many new hunters have shone like stars and have been very active. This ranking might see significant changes, but experts have predicted that the top hunters, specifically the top 20 positions, will likely remain unchanged. Let's take a look at the predicted rankings. The experts' predictions remain the same. The top spot is still Lisa Eon, and Jong-bin is still in third place. The host continues, Oh, the predicted rankings are no different from the current rankings. Yes, that's right. It's expected that the rankings from the past 2 years will continue to be maintained. Hearing this, Zombie felt sluggish. The predicted rankings were all old names. Just then, snacks and tea were brought in. The staff beside them asked, Captain, do you think the rankings will still hold as they predicted? John Bin was peeling a snack while responding with a nonchalant attitude. But if Honeybee gets an S-level weapon, who knows what could change? For now, the rankings this year will remain as they are. The guy next to him nodded in agreement. That's true. The top hunters aren't just sitting around. Everyone is actively working. Just then, the clock struck the hour, and in front of all the hunters, a notification appeared about the ranking changes. Do you want to view and confirm it right now? The moment everything opened up, everyone froze in shock as the updated leaderboard showed Jay at the top. All the hunters from last year's top were pushed down a rank. Yongbin was so shocked that he immediately jumped up. Ji, who was reported to have sacrificed himself in the water crevice 8 years ago, appeared again. The staff member next to Jongbin was sweating. "Hey, Captain, what's going on? Is what I'm seeing real?" Jongbin couldn't stay calm anymore and urgently asked how many members could be mobilized immediately. The staff member stammered. "Besides those present at the mission site, there are a total of 10 people, sir. Keep the minimum number of people here. Everyone else should move to Incheon. Also, all those on duty should move as well." As soon as he heard the order, the young man quickly ran off. Yes, I understand." Just then, Jongbin's phone rang. It was a call from the director. "You're working hard, calling you at this hour. Have you seen the leaderboard yet?" "I have, sir. We're planning to head to Incheon right now." The director suddenly lowered his voice. I believe you know what to do." The zombie replied, "Yes," after confirming whether the water crevice in the Western Sea had opened again. "I'll find out if there are any surviving hunters and also check the surrounding area," the director instructed. "You must find them, no matter what it takes." The zombie suddenly stood still, thinking that the worst-case scenario could be that the water crevice in Incheon appeared again. Jongbin immediately moved the helicopter to Incheon. Upon arriving at the memorial site, he saw Sa-Eon standing there. Jongbin hurriedly ran over. "Captain Sa-Eon, I'm here to see if the crack has opened." Sa-Eon calmly replied, "It hasn't opened." Jongbin stood there stiff as a board, thinking to himself that he arrived right after the leaderboard was announced, and yet he got here faster than him. The crack in Incheon had disappeared after they entered it. It was managed by both the Crack Management Department and the Awakened Management Bureau, but the scale of the crack was too large to be handled solely by one team. The losses caused by the crack were also too great. No team returned after entering it. But then one day Lisa Eon suddenly appeared. Instead of announcing the research results from the Pado team, he requested the government to grant ownership of the water crevice. The government, showing no signs of worry, transferred it to the Pado team like handing over a bomb. Since that day, rumors began to circulate, and Lee Min understood why he wanted ownership of the Incheon crack and why he was here now. Could it be this time? What is Sa-Yeon's mission related to owning the Canute, or is he just furious because Ji stole the top rank? He looks normal on the outside, but his spirit is still roaring after moments of standing still. The person Sa-Yeon turned to Jongbin and said, "If everything is confirmed, then I'm heading back. Go and remember to manage the hunters well." Just as he finished speaking, another notification appeared in front of the hunters. "Ji has appeared." Jongbin immediately called his team. All team members quickly gathered. It seems Ji is nearby. Before he could do anything else, Sa-Yeon approached and warned Jongbin to relay the message to CEO Jong that the ownership of the Incheon waterway belongs to Team Pado. Everything that comes from that waterway is mine. In another scene, Ji is standing in front of some trash sorting bins, looking utterly perplexed at the ranking notification that popped up in front of him. "Congratulations, Ji, you have become the #1 ranked player in Korea." Ji awkwardly muttered to himself, "What the heck is the system malfunctioning? Out of nowhere, while sorting trash, they push me to the top rank. What did I even do to deserve this?" His phone kept buzzing with notifications. Jay opened it to find all news related to himself, updating that he is now at the top of the Korean ranking. Lisa Ion, who had always been at #1, has now been pushed down by Jay. The management of Awakened Individuals stated that the nickname for hunters cannot be duplicated. It's not just about having the same name. The management of Awakened Individuals suspects a system error and is confirming it. They caught sight of a scene where a helicopter was moving towards Incheon. After reading it, Ji's face twisted in disbelief. "Oh my God, if you have died, how can you come back to life?" But since escaping from the waterway, everything I've done includes cleaning, sorting trash, washing dishes, making soup, going to collect discount coupons, and babysitting. Donating to those affected by the Incheon waterway and occasionally dealing with monsters that appear on the road, then pretending to be a civilian to report to the management. That's all there is to it, right? If what I do is enough to make me rank #1, then even a dog or a cow could rank #1 too. While still grumbling in frustration, another notification appeared. "A special reward for the #1 rank has been sent to you. Do you accept it?" The notification only had an accept button, no decline option. He sighed, thinking, "Do you think I'm crazy? After accepting, will I just return to my previous life? I absolutely will not press it. I will continue to ignore it." This deadline hasn't passed, and now another one comes. He was stunned in front of the new notifications about the privileges that had been revoked before. They have been partially restored. The privileges have been successfully restored. Access to the #1 channel in Korea is automatically connected to the #1 channel. Hearing this, G's eyes widened in shock as he tried to tap on the screen to change it, but it was useless. What is this outrageous system doing? Right now, all the other hunters are in chaos. Some believe this is just a name duplication. Some assert that hunter nicknames cannot be duplicated. Zombie messaged all the other hunters, "I know everyone is confused right now. I'm still in the process of confirming, so please hang in there." Another message was sent posing the question to Zombie, "Is there a chance the waterway will open again?" G suddenly felt dizzy. What the crack in Incheon is opening again? When I exited the crack, I couldn't see it anymore. If the Incheon crack opens again, I will have to return to that hell once more. I will find all those who were left behind in there. I have to pay for being the last one standing. The clattering sound behind you made you jump, but you sighed in relief when you realized it was just a bottle that the cat knocked over. Jay continued to pull out his phone, looking for a way to help me leave the hunter group chat. After searching, he found nothing and could only sit there holding his head in frustration. Damn it! The Awakening Management Bureau immediately recorded the announcement of this new ranking. Many unexpected issues have arisen that we haven't been able to control. We held this press conference so you could be informed. The current situation of this ranking is not due to a system error, nor is it because the hunter's nickname is duplicated, and it's not because someone is using Jay's account. I know this is hard to believe, but according to our internal investigation, Jay is still alive, and all the reporters present at the press conference were very surprised. How can you be so sure? Besides Jay, is there anyone else who survived? 8 years ago, the Awakening Management Bureau declared that all hunters who entered the waterway in the West Sea had perished. So why has the Bureau changed its statement? If Jay is alive, where is he now? In front of hundreds of cameras, the representative woman replied that we will expand the investigation to find the most accurate answer. We hope you can wait a little longer. Thank you very much. G is currently turning on the TV to watch the head of the Awakening Management Bureau. She looks very different from how she did 8 years ago. In my memory, Ham Seok-jong was always the one to take action when it was a legitimate matter, and there was evidence that no one could refute. She is extremely cautious and as solid as Mount Tai. Why is she so confidently asserting this? Just because G logged into the #1 channel for hunters doesn't mean she could hold a press conference and speak like that. Just turned off the TV. Sa-eon suddenly appeared at the door, startling G. What are you doing? Oh, you're at the store. G anxiously asked what he was planning to do, feeling very restless. Did he know something about her? What is he going to do, Se-eon, with a face as tense as a bowstring rushed over. You should be the one asking me. Why didn't you contact me first? Damn it, I've been waiting for 2 weeks. While Sa-eon was glaring, Jay was sweating, unsure how to respond. He hadn't contacted him, and now he was making a fuss about it. I didn't intend to ignore someone who was waiting for me to reach out first, but to be honest, it wasn't that I didn't want to contact him, I just forgot. G turned away and said, Let it go. I'm sorry I haven't been able to respond to your trade proposal, but I've been really busy. Besides, I've been thinking a lot about it. Sa-eon, upon hearing this, couldn't help but show a mocking expression. So you've been thinking about it too? Hearing this tone, G felt even more uneasy. Today, this kid was talking as if he was mocking her. Could it be because he lost the #1 spot to G? He had been in the #1 position for 6 years. Suddenly losing it must have made him even more petulant. G looked at Sa-eon with a pitying gaze. What's with that look of yours? Oh, it's nothing. Just hang in there, okay? Oh, it's nothing. Just hang in there. So are you giving me that look because you're joking with me right now? What do you mean joking? I'm being completely sincere here. Well, you keep making that face, but fine. Who do you think went to shoot that commercial? And yet people have been ignoring me for 2 whole weeks. Young, do you even realize how awful that is? Upon hearing this, G immediately perked up. That's right. What's with the commercial? Why did you suddenly decide to shoot something like that? I thought you only liked people who did commercials, right? Who knows? D continued spraying the glue. Where did you hear those ridiculous gossip stories, Lisa? Ion spread her hands, starting to count zombie honeybee, then pointed. That picture of honeybee on the wall. What are you waiting for? Why don't you take that up to Tomato Market and sell it? G didn't respond, but thought to herself, I want that too. Is this kid acting up again? After a long negotiation, Sa-eon got to the main issue, asking if he finally had an answer after 2 weeks of thinking. Right? G replied. Yeah, let's make the deal. But I have a few conditions. Sa-eon pulled a blue stone from his space pocket. Both you and I are the type who wants solid proof. Dai looked curious. You're planning to record with that magic stone, huh? What if the recording gets leaked? Sa-eon promised it would only be used for listening back and referencing when drafting the contract, then he would destroy it right after. Di looked at it feeling sorry for such an expensive item being treated like a recorder. Just for one use, huh? Ion started pressing the button to begin the recording process, getting straight to the first issue. I won't work for you during the hours the tavern is open for business. No matter what you ask or request, you have to wait until the tavern closes. I'll only work for you from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. Secondly, you need to help me register as a hunter. Didn't I tell you before that I need a hunter who's as low-key as possible? Dee continued explaining, I know you're listening, but honestly, Jay has no intention of going back to being a hunter. But now the situation has changed. They've discovered your existence, so to make things easier for the future, you need a completely new identity that has nothing to do with Jay. You suggested to Ion that you know hunters operate in different tiers depending on their rank. Right, my condition is, you just need to help me get the lowest rank. E or D rank hunters are pretty common, so people won't pay attention to me. My final condition is to heal that lady. It's over. There's no more conditions, Lisa. Just accept it right away. Now it's your turn right after that Ion hands G this thorny object. It's called the Thorn of the Cinnamon Person, used to trade for an S-level contract once blood is drawn on this sword. The contract will be absolutely unbreakable, and it even has the power to curse anyone who breaks it. Ion leaned in with a very seductive look, wanting to either stab himself or let me do it. D stood lower, looking up with indifference. Of course, I'll do it myself. Why would I let you stab my hand? Young laughed mockingly, saying that sometimes there are people who like to stab in strange places. Some even stab themselves in the thigh while you're saying to stab in the hand. Dai put on a grumpy face, wanting to teach a lesson. There's no way I'd be foolish enough to ruin a contract that took so much effort to reach. Do you think I'm an idiot or something? Young raised the thorn, looking a bit mischievous, saying, you stab really well. It doesn't hurt at all, it's just like an ant bite. If it were you, I could be even gentler. It wouldn't hurt at all. I guarantee it's precise. No blood will flow. G, feeling a headache, shut up and stopped talking nonsense after taking the thorn to cut into Ion's palm, handing G a vial. Here, drink this. This bubbling purple liquid is a specialized antidote. G looked confused, seeming a bit suspicious. Is this your specialized antidote? Ion pulled off his gloves while saying, if the contract is done and you kick the bucket, what will happen? So you should drink it now. Dai still drank it like a normal person, but in reality, only he knew that if Ion hadn't given him the antidote, he already had a natural resistance to poison. He didn't really want to let Ion know that. After everything was done, Ion took the thorn and cut into his own palm, then firmly held G's hand face to face, saying, I have one condition. You must never betray me. Right after those sweet words, a powerful light radiated from G, tightening him with magical threads. The system announced that the special ability S-level Basilisk Toxin was being activated. After moments of sharp pain, Dai was stunned. Wait, this is the detox ability I got after catching the basilisk monster at the water gap on the Western Sea, and it wouldn't react to the mild poison. This ability had never truly been activated before. Why is it happening now? After vomiting blood, feeling dizzy, Dai staggered, wanting to faint. This damn kid. He shoved a bunch of poison into his own body and is making such a fuss. Ion was quite panicked, running over to support Dai, continuously calling Hyung. Wake up! His head felt very hot right now. Where did this kid get the confidence to inject poison into someone else's body? Not to mention that the previous antidote didn't work at all. How could an S-level detox ability be so slow? Is it really happening? After a while of dazing, Jay glared, but in reality he couldn't see anything clearly. The system announced that the detoxification of the S-level Basilisk Toxin had been activated. In Jay's mind, there were constant complaints about Lisa. What would you do if I didn't have that special detox ability? Just like that. G kept throwing up, leaving Ion stunned. Ion quickly reached into the space bag to find a few detox vials. Hyung, open your mouth. Open your mouth. Right after that, Jay escaped death and kept coughing. Ion sighed in relief. Hyung, are you okay? The system announced that the detox process was completed thanks to the effectiveness of the S+ level Basilisk Toxin ability. You have achieved immunity to the toxin that was detoxified. In that moment of sheer panic, G was dazed, unsure if it was due to the special detox ability or the liquid medicine that guy made him drink that helped him recover so quickly. People were already tired, but Young didn't get the hint and kept shaking him. Hyung, do you see me? Can't you speak? If you can't speak, just blink. His face was scrunched up not from exhaustion, but from irritation. If I could speak, I would curse. First, I would insult that brat's entire family. Sayan looked around. Jay lay still, only able to endure. Seriously, I'm at a loss for words. Summarizing everything from what he said, it was clear that the toxin was A super strong poison that could damage vision, hearing the larynx, and even internal organs. Even an S-level hunter would suffer this much pain. And he dared to give it to someone who didn't even know if they were a civilian or a hunter. At this point, Sa-eon no longer called Ji-hyung, but used his real name, Cha-ui-ji, glaring as he struggled with whether to just speak up. Soon after, Jae opened his eyes fully alert, but saw that Sa-eon looked even more surprised than he was. Why did his expression look so panicked? I was planning to curse him out, too. I guess not anymore. Normally, his face always looked cocky, but today he looked surprisingly charming. After lifting his head, he wiped the drool that had been flowing and acted calm. I'm fine, it's not like my larynx is damaged. This is the first time I've experienced such a brutal toxin. Does your little brat have any conscience? Sa-eon put on an innocent face. Why aren't you talking? Are you joking with me? I smirked. I'm afraid if I open my mouth, I'll just curse you out. What do you think? Sa-eon pulled his hair in frustration. Fine, since you made me drink that precious medicine, I guess I'll reluctantly thank you. I don't know what you made me drink, but it must be really expensive, huh? Sa-young put on a teasing expression. Thank you to the person who poisoned me, I guess. Such a gentleman, I thought, suppressing my urge to say thank you. This kid was going crazy again. Looking at my hands still glowing, it seemed the contract had been formed. I turned to Sa-eon. The contract is signed. Now you can explain to me about the thing you didn't want to tell me last time. After sighing, Sa-eon began to get to the point. I'm tracking down the one spreading my tui. You told me to come here, right? Generally, hunters are more sensitive than ordinary people in all aspects, but their senses are particularly more developed than those of regular folks. Because of this, they live lives filled with dissatisfaction and have little joy. This type of mai tui is sold at a very low price, making it easily accessible anywhere. The easier it is to access, the quicker they sink deeper into addiction. Those who are addicted will crave stronger stimulation, just like how they continue to drink alcohol. No matter how much they drink, they won't get drunk. Hunters can only get drunk from a special kind of alcohol made just for them, and the amount of mai tui they consume will gradually increase. Until they start to feel that what they have is not enough, they will directly seek out suppliers for those who are heavily addicted. Most of these suppliers have either been transformed or are on the verge of transformation. The suppliers will lead those who willingly walk into the trap. Mai tui is merely bait to lure them in. They just gather those considered to be test subjects. As Sa-eon spoke, he reached out to pull Ji-dae, looking very affectionate. Ji also looked straight into Sa-eon's eyes and asked a small question. Do they want to find a way to awaken? Isn't the awakening of abilities chosen by the system? Sa-eon answered. That's right, but guess what? The system bases its choices on for who will awaken. The system will respond to a strong desire, meaning they are conducting experiments to create artificially awakened individuals, as you know. Normally, the system is attracted to and seeks out those with extremely strong desires. Right. The desire to live, the desire not to leave this world. Wishing for oneself not to die is also a form of desire, but in reality, there are also those who harbor resentment towards the system's choices. Do you understand what I'm saying? The system is a supreme and powerful force. Most people will live according to its will. However, those who feel that the system's choices are unjust think differently. The organization I mentioned earlier believes that humanity's power must be awakened by humanity itself. Ji asked further. So if they create artificially awakened individuals, then what happens next? I don't remember. It seems they mentioned something about preventing the apocalypse or something like that. Ji looked confused, not understanding anything about the apocalypse, and neither did Sa-eon. When they heard about it, Sa-eon found it ridiculous, so he didn't listen any further. Countless people believe that once the water gap appears, the apocalypse will follow immediately. That's something from 11 years ago. In today's world, people can predict when and where the gate will open. Yet there are still those who think there will be an apocalypse. Dai kept thinking endlessly like that, with thousands of questions in her head. After a while of expressing her thoughts, Sa-eon concluded, In short, right now I don't need your help. Let's start with registering you as a hunter first. Tomorrow I will send someone here. Dai still has one more thing to say. The poison from that kid is still lying on the floor. You can only leave after you clean it up. And my blood, too. The next morning, it was the usual job of making soup to cure hangovers. Standing in front of 2 boiling pots, someone suddenly called from outside. As soon as he stepped outside, the young man greeted him first. Hello, it's my first time meeting you. May I ask if you are Cha-uya? Yes, that's me. I'm Captain Izawai. He sent me here. People often call me the little miracle, getting something for nothing. Dai politely invited the young man in, and as soon as he entered, he sat down. Today, I will be the one to take you through the entire registration process and strength check. Please wait a moment. Please wait a moment. He pulled out a board and started teaching G a course titled Strategies to Achieve the Lowest Rank, while G was still confused, not understanding what the board was about. This guy continued to say that he needed to minimize attention as much as possible. I heard your goal is just to achieve a low rank. To build a more accurate strategy, please take this survey. The survey contains a series of questions, the first being, when registering to be a hunter, what rank do you want to achieve? Write your desired rank in the box below with ranks ranging from S to F. Question 2. What is your rank according to the system's classification? If you don't want to disclose your rank, then fill it out according to the example below. Question 3. Do you agree to use drugs or charms to fake your rank? I don't know what noun to use to refer to that guy. This is a bit awkward, isn't it? Hey, you little miracle worker not doing anything but still getting by. Question 3 seems a bit tricky. He tilted his head after hearing that. If you want to hide your abilities, you have to accept that, right? This is obviously the case. G was feeling conflicted inside. Obviously, what does that even mean? Is this kid a fraud? He continued to hesitate while explaining to G. First, when measuring strength, the first thing you need to do is fill out the information in the form by hand. After that, they will measure your strength using a device. The management department will require you to demonstrate which skills are your strengths for them to see. As for handwriting, just write it a bit slanted, it's fine. And for the strong skill, just pick anyone to show them. The most important issue here is the measuring device. That device gives extremely accurate results, so tricking the staff there is easy, but fooling that machine is really hard. However, the measuring device uses magical stones as its energy source, so it won't react to ordinary people, only to awakened ones. This means we will follow the system's principles, but use a bit of special scientific knowledge, and then we can use the system's principles. To deceive the measuring device, that's why you need to use drugs or charms to lower your rank. Hearing this, G seemed to be convinced. After understanding, he no longer hesitated and immediately filled out the survey stating his desired rank as E or D and his current rank according to the system as strong. He agreed to use charms or drugs to fake his rank. Once everything was done, the guy who doesn't do anything but still gets by shouted, "All right, let's go. My car is parked right outside." G wondered how long it would take to complete the registration. The little miracle worker not doing anything but still getting by hesitated to answer. Even if it takes a long time, it should only be about an hour. No more than that. After checking the time, G decided to keep the stove on low heat and would turn it off when he got back. After all, the bone broth needs to simmer for a long time to develop its rich flavor. If he returned on time, there would be no issues with the restaurant. The two of them got into the car, and the little miracle worker, not doing anything but still getting by, kept humming, "We won't go to the official registration center of the Awakening Management Department. We're going to the temporary registration center located in Gwangjin district over there. It works faster, plus there are fewer people paying attention, and there are also fewer strong hunters." G felt a bit conflicted. That place was just established not long ago, right? If that's the case, it would attract even more attention, wouldn't it? No, bro, that center in that district has been established for about 3 months now, so they've been pretty distracted. There are a few buildings that are just in the planning stage and haven't even been completed yet. Do you see that black box in front? Inside there's a bracelet. Why don't you try putting it on? That's actually the binding chain of the Ouroboros. Once you wear this pair of chains, you'll be cursed to have your strength diminished. If you want to lower your rank, this is the quickest and easiest way. Just use an item that's cursed to show surprise. Using this to fake your rank won't get detected. I think if they see you wearing an item, they'll catch you right away. The little miracle doesn't do anything, but still gets results. I'm quite confident. It's fine. The procedure for checking items is only for those who are already hunters coming to re-register. As for new awakeners who come to measure their strength, they don't check them. People who haven't registered as hunters don't have any items to begin with. Those who haven't registered can't even use the hunter market. Besides, who wouldn't want a higher rank? No one wants to receive a lower rank. After such reasonable explanations, there's no hesitation left but to wear it. The little miracle doesn't do anything but still gets results. Of course, I'm not talking about your case. So that's how it is. That should be enough to lower your rank, right? If it's still not enough, you'll have to take more of the antidote to reduce your strength. After trying to force it, I felt my body getting heavier, but it still wasn't enough. The little miracle doesn't do anything but still gets results had already anticipated this situation, so I had prepared a drink. Ta-da! This is the A-level poison that reduces strength. This is a masterpiece that Team 5 invented. It took them a whole day and night to create it. The team leader promised a 300% bonus. So everyone is fired up to work overtime. Hearing this, I can't help but feel a bit sorry thinking about how wasteful it is, but since it's not your money, I'll try not to think about it too much. After finishing the drink, the little miracle doesn't do anything but still gets results turned to me with an excited smile. So what do you think? It's definitely effective, right? But if you feel anything off with your body, you need to tell me right away, okay? I'll give you the antidote immediately, but after drinking several bottles, G still doesn't seem to notice anything unusual. Is this supposed to take a while to kick in or something? The little miracle doesn't do anything but still gets results was shocked to see G completely unfazed. What on earth is happening? According to the research results, as soon as you take the medicine, its effects should appear immediately. During the experiments, the research staff who drank just one bottle ended up collapsing and losing all their ranks to the point where the system had to issue a warning. They were scared of the strength loss. Once it's reduced, it can't be regained. So the young man was shaking in fear, mumbling continuously while G kept hearing more and more strange things. Could this really just be a test version? G drank the third bottle and there wasn't a single drop left. Feeling a bit anxious, he said, "Hey, little miracle. Has this type of poison that reduces strength been approved for trading in the system yet?" What are you asking? Our team leader drank it too. No matter what poison he takes, it doesn't have any effect. Could it be that you already have toxins in you? I haven't heard about that. The team leader just kept reminding me that you're very susceptible to poison, so you need to pay close attention to your condition. Hearing this, I knew it was ineffective. Well then, is there any other way to lower your rank? A little miracle that doesn't require effort but still brings rewards. Now I'll head to Hangar Market to buy some charms that reduce life force. I should get to spend money freely at least once in my life, right? And to make matters worse, it's someone else's card. G immediately objected, firmly showing his frustration. Of course he would oppose this, because that would spread rumors instantly, right? Or should we just go back and come up with another strategy to implement later? I have a business trip abroad, so it'll be about 3 weeks. G's face immediately showed his displeasure. Can this kid really say that? Seeing G complain, he said, "I'm sorry, but the methods I found today were really from my brainstorming. This center will officially operate when those buildings you see still using containers are completed. Maybe by the time I return from my business trip, it'll be done." Asterisk size, asterisk. To sum it up, if we want to seize the opportunity while they're not paying attention to this place, we have to register today. Just arriving with a not-so-happy face, G hesitantly walked in. As soon as he opened the door, someone greeted him. "Hello, what brings you here?" "I'm here to register as a hunter." The enthusiastic staff immediately said, "Please show your ID and fill in your phone number here. Once done, please wait for me a moment." While jotting down notes, G still didn't understand why he ultimately decided to go in. He didn't know what the final trick he mentioned was. But anyway, there's no other way. Luckily, just as he said, the staff here are all ordinary people. After submitting the application, the staff continued to ask, "Congratulations, you've awakened your ability. How long have you been awakened?" "Please come over here for a check." G cooperated enthusiastically. "I've been awakened for 3 days now." Who would know that he actually awakened 11 years ago? "Please fill in more information here and clearly state the skills you will perform so the machine can measure your strength. You don't need to list all your skills. Just write one skill, the one that can be easily assessed visually." G opened the status bar to check reviewing information about Cha Yu-Ji. There was a lot of information, so he switched to summary mode. Hunter name G, gender male. Current rank A, currently reduced due to using a charm. Abilities poison attribute basilisk S plus physical enhancement S plus poker face B. Special attribute skilled craftsman's hand S. All things observation S plus skill. Eyes of the seeker S plus heart penetration. S silent footsteps. SG began to think about which skill would be reasonable to use. He had to choose. A skill that isn't too attention-grabbing and can be easily concealed. Most of them were skills G had used before, so he didn't want them to see. If it got out that he had these skills, he would be caught red-handed immediately. After a moment of hesitation, he decided to take a gamble. "First just take the hit, then I'll write it down here. My skill is a solid body." The words G wrote in the report were as follows. "My body is very tough, probably at level D, capable of enhancing the body to a solid level." When the female staff read it, she felt a bit uneasy. That ability is basically to enhance defensive power. It's a defensive skill. G activated his clueless mode. "I guess that's it, huh? I'm not too sure." Finally, the young man was taken into the testing room. "Now let's test it out. You just need to take the hit while your ability is activated. If it's a D-level awakened person, they might still be slightly affected by external attack force. Will it be okay?" D took long strides as if wanting to get this over with. Yes, I was carefree as I entered, bending my joints like it was real. It looked so ridiculous, but I couldn't understand why the female staff outside was so impressed. This calm attitude is truly admirable. Uong is rare now, so he will definitely get into a medium or small team, the female staff continued to say inside if he feels too much pain while taking hits. Then you must tell me, okay? I will give G recovery medicine. He seemed ready, thinking to himself that if he used his skills, he wouldn't get hurt by external forces, but still had to pretend to act like it hurt a lot. The robot began to raise its stick, and the moment the stick touched G's shoulder, it broke into pieces. G felt a tickle in front of the stunned female staff. Wait, I thought it would be more intense than this. Why is it so light? Well, since it has come to this. I have to transform into a Hollywood actor. G kept crying out in pain, one hand clutching his shoulder. Oh my God, why does it hurt so much? He thought to himself, just endure it at this point, just act it out. They aren't checking the quality of the equipment or anything. These government workers really are disappointing. The female staff began to look at him with a puzzled expression. Is the skill he's using really at level D? At this point, the cat dared to look straight into people's eyes. Jay was worried that he wouldn't pass the inspection, but still tried to answer, yes, it's indeed a level D skill. The staff appeared confused. How could a wooden sword of that size break? G was still clutching his shoulder, mumbling, I noted that it was body enhancement, but honestly, I'm not sure how it can enhance me. And to what extent, but I will have to compensate, right? The staff was startled. Oh no, right away, Jay activated his poker face skill to manipulate the psychology. Is this very expensive? The staff was startled, but immediately Jay activated his poker face skill, Cup B, to manipulate the situation. Is this really expensive? Immediately, the female staff started sweating, blaming herself for saying this to someone who had just awakened not long ago. He just awakened, so he's extremely sensitive right now. Those who have just awakened need to adapt to their sudden changes, so they will be very sensitive. Some people even stay awake for 72 hours straight. You have to treat them very delicately, softly, and gently, as if you're facing a ticking time bomb. Just a small impact can cause a huge problem, so you must be very gentle. After thinking about that, the female staff immediately changed her attitude. It's okay. These puppets have been old for a long time. When we move to the headquarters, we plan to change to new ones. Her eyes brightened. Yes, don't worry too much. First, the skill demonstration is done. Now let's move on to the strength measurement, shall we? Let's move on to the strength measurement part. Even though his face seemed calm inside, he was a storm. Just as G dodged a watermelon peel, another disaster struck as he was immediately led to a measuring machine. Take off your shoes and stand up here, okay? The screen will display your strength value and rank according to the system's evaluation. You just need to stand up. It's easy, right? G was anxious and worried. The problem was it was too easy. I used the bracelet to lower my rank, but it only dropped to rank A. That's still too far off from the D or E rank I want. First, let's just measure. If the result is higher than rank D, I can just smash the machine, right? If that's the case, I need to distract that staff member or lure them out of the room. G decided to speak up. Can I ask? Right after that, he put on a performance that was nothing short of convincing, swaying his body as he spoke. My shoulder from earlier is really hurting. Can I have some recovery medicine? The female staff member looked flustered and panicked. Oh, the medicine is in the storage room, so I have to go get it. Please wait a moment. I have to seize this opportunity. While waiting, I'll stand on the measuring machine. After all, the results depend on the machine. The staff member didn't think twice and dashed off. Just go ahead and do that. I'll be back quickly. When the machine beeps, step down and check the results. Just as expected after the scan, the machine displayed the result number 93, rank A. G felt his stomach drop. He knew it right away, this damn machine. It's turned out like this. Then the only option left is to destroy the evidence. I'll do it gently. Just a little force should be enough, right? Before he could do anything, G was holding his breath when the female staff member burst through the door, panicking. Are you okay, Hunter? G immediately rushed out to stop her, looking panicked. Right behind the female staff member was a crack in another dimension. The little miracle was still sitting in the car, enjoying a delicious cup of milk tea, still reporting, wondering if he had successfully received the D certificate. If he didn't get the D rank, it wouldn't matter. Captain Mickey, this little miracle will forge the documents perfectly without a flaw. While relaxing suddenly, the ground shook violently. Mickey frowned, his face pale. What's happening? Could it be that many people outside are rushing to help, shouting, "Quick move to the registration center under Kwangjin District"? A level 5 water crack had contacted the management bureau. Min-Ki held his head in shock. Are you kidding me? This young man had just messaged Captain Lisa Eon not long ago. In an instant, G found himself in another space. At first, he rushed into the water crack so fast that he felt dizzy. Feeling nauseous, he could finally stabilize himself. Looking around at a group of young people, it seemed that this water crack wasn't too dangerous after all. I don't know if it's luck or misfortune, but all the people sucked into this water crack had scattered everywhere, so he couldn't see anyone. I need to hide my identity so I can't save anyone else. They have all scattered everywhere so I can't see anyone. I need to hide my identity so I can't step in to help others. But we can help them by reducing the number of monsters in the rift. We have to deal with the rift's master for it to disappear. The rescue team should be arriving soon, but what about tonight's business at the shop? Inside the rift, all electronic devices stop working, so I can't check what time it is or if the shop is on fire. Just thinking about this makes me dizzy. The problem is I don't know how much longer it will take for the rescue team to arrive. The team will include hunters from the Rift Management Agency and hunters from the Awakening Management Bureau. Additionally, there are hunters from various teams responding to the rescue request, a combination of many hunters, and the shop is a familiar place that hunters often visit. What if one of the hunters from the rescue team has been to the shop before? That would be quite awkward. They would recognize me immediately. No matter how much I try to hide it, the fact that I went to the center to register and then accidentally got sucked into the rift will be known. They will find out everything. Oh no, could this year really be my third year of trouble? Now that we're at this point, I have to take advantage of the time while the rescue team is busy helping the survivors to activate the Eye of the Seeker. I want to eliminate the master of the rift. I need to escape and get back to the shop as quickly as possible. Just then, a male awakener rushed in to announce, "Senior, the Captain Scion from the Pado team has arrived to handle the rift." This woman looked very shocked. What do you mean by that? At that moment, Scion also walked in with a radiant demeanor. What are you all doing gathering at the entrance of the rift? Is it some kind of worship? It looks so peaceful. This awakener still can't believe her eyes. Is it really, Sion? He has never responded to any support request before. She has to run back and ask him again, "Are you really here to help?" Scion nodded calmly. "What else? Why haven't you gone in yet?" "The support team from the Awakening Management Bureau is already on their way here. I was planning to wait for them and go in together, but Sion seemed uninterested and just walked in without worrying about finding the survivors." The young man beside the Awakener jumped around. "What should we do, Senior?" "What do you mean, what should we do?" "Scion will handle the Master of the Rift himself. We don't need to worry about that anymore. Just focus on finding and rescuing the survivors. Prepare more gas masks than the number of people on the team. Bring all the antidotes and items that can detoxify. If you don't want to get taken out by Scion's poison, then hurry up." In another development, G is still leisurely walking under a sky full of flowers. The Master of the Rift is inside here. "It would be great if I could use fire, but right now I don't have a lighter, so I guess I'll just punch it until it breaks." With that, G gathered strength and punched, creating a hole in the tree trunk. System notification. You have entered the Garden of Life, the home of the Master of the Rift. As soon as G stepped in, a deer curled up immediately opened its eyes and the surrounding leaves rustled. The purple flowers transformed into monsters crawling towards G as he activated his power. G was startled. Why is my power reduced? Am I being suppressed? Oh right, I'm in a weaker state now. I can't just take off this bracelet. What should I do? If I can't use my powers, then I guess I'll have to use items instead. You pulled out the S-Class Basilisk Fang from your personal stash, which is a sword forged by a skilled blacksmith from the Basilisk's Fang. Just a single cut from this sword will start spreading poison. The user's body was calm, but the pitch-black sword made Jay feel uneasy just as the monster charged at him like a madman. He had no choice but to weave and dodge its attacks. He kept cursing this sword. "Are you crazy? Don't you remember me?" At this moment, the Basilisk Fang began to think and finally declared that those unworthy would not be allowed to wield it, not even to swing the sword. After checking the compatibility, the system warned Jay that it would not obey the commands of anyone weaker than it. Jay felt powerless and irritated. "Are you kidding me? Even if I were an A-class now, I would still be your master, and you still don't realize that the S-Class Basilisk's poison trait has been activated." The sword continued to release poison into his body, but then the toxin was immediately neutralized. The Basilisk Fang went back to thinking. "Big brother, why are you here?" The reason it asked such a silly question was that the sword was made from the Basilisk Fang, so it regarded the Basilisk's toxin as its big brother. G was really annoyed at this moment. "Seriously, you don't recognize your master, but our brother recognizes you so quickly. There's not much time left." The master of the waterway let out a loud shout. A series of roots shot straight toward G with skilled speed. He dodged them all and then countered with the Basilisk's sword, but he was in a weakened state. So he wasn't sure if he would get hurt because of the wind from those leaves. Gillip looked at his injuries and thought it was okay. But if he bled, it would cause trouble and spread to the bar that dispenses antidotes, threatening him with the Basilisk sword and tossing aside his body. "I won't let that happen." G was feeling extremely disappointed and frustrated. What use was a weapon that even his master didn't recognize? With no other choice, G shouted provocatively at the master of this Canute, "You idiot." Thus, G wielded the sword, ignoring his own words, and charged forward. He had no other option but to resolve this quickly to avoid getting hurt. As he bent down to prepare for an attack, someone from behind covered his mouth and grabbed him. Sa-Yan had come in here at some point. With one hand covering his mouth, he whispered in his ear, "Turns out you're not just any ordinary guy, huh, Young? With just one hand you can finish off the master of Canute." Sa-Yan reluctantly asked G, "Where do you get the confidence to confront the master of Canute like that? You're still under the effects of the spell that weakens your power." Just then, a young man approached looking impressed. "See, I told you. He doesn't know what fear is. Truly a captain, just one move and he took care of Sa-Yan. Hand that over here, you still have the mask, right? Hand it over quickly, and the gloves too." After taking the gas mask, Sa-Yan looked into G's eyes as if conveying feelings. "This is a gas mask. If you let go of my hand, I'll put it on right away. If you let go, I'll put it on right away." After continuously comforting G and soothing him, "You must have been really panicked, right? Just take a slow, deep breath." G still looked confused about why you were here. Sa-Yan replied gently, "What's wrong? I thought you wouldn't come." D coldly responded, "You have no reason to come here." Sa-Yan sighed, "Hyung, you really don't trust anyone, do you?" D continued to grumble without needing to mock. "So why did you come here? I came to get you out, Hyung, but are you crazy? I didn't expect to walk in and find you fighting with the owner of Canute." G's face fell, feeling a bit regretful. "Damn it, if I had known I would have fought even if it meant tearing my clothes. We should have dealt with it and escaped first." Mickey ran up, reminding the captain that while it's good to care for our esteemed guest, there's something he needs to consider. The captain used poison to dissolve the owner of Canute. So it's possible that the magical stone of Canute held by its owner has also been dissolved. Just then, loud noises erupted, revealing G's bewildered face. Minky pointed up, "Hey, UIJ, you don't get this part, do you? Let me explain what the magical stone of Canute is. The owner of Canute will keep the magical stone at the center. If the stone is destroyed, then the waterway will disappear. It's not dangerous at all, just like that. If the waterway disappears, everyone who got sucked in from the living to the dead will be returned to the exact spot where the entrance to the waterway was to minimize the shock. Caused by the horrifying images, usually people will make Canute disappear right after saving the living." G started to think to himself that in times like this, it's best to avoid running into the rescue team. While G was pondering with his eyes closed, Sa-Yan looked worried. This situation was beyond his expectations. "What should we do now?" D turned back her gaze, affectionate yet reproachful. "What else? If you get caught having wiped out Canute without waiting for the rescue team to find the survivors, you're done for. Then you should memorize what I'm about to say. I'll align my testimony with yours from a different angle. Canute is still pushing everyone out of there." The female hunter who had met Se-Yeon looked upset, muttering curses under her breath about Lisa-Yeon. "What the hell, the rescue operation isn't even complete and you dare to wipe out Canute." Just then a hand reached out. "You've worked hard. Are you okay, Hijin?" "I'm a bit dizzy, but I'm fine. Where's Captain Sa-Yeon?" "He's over there." But if you're going over to confront him, then Ian Heisen leaned on his hands. "Why do you say that?" "Well, I've been meaning to ask for a long time." But he has his own very valid reasons for wiping out Canute. "Hyejin, you often go to the liquor store in the alley, right? What does that have to do with Captain Sa-Yeon?" Youngbin shrugged and replied, "The part-time worker there just awakened their powers, so they went to the registration center. That's probably why they got caught up in this incident." Yang Hyojin was surprised and startled. "What, just the preparation work at the liquor store?" Yang Hyojin was surprised and startled what just the job of preparing at the store to detoxify the alcohol. "I've been really busy already. But is he still getting caught up in this? Yes, according to Captain Se-Ion, the master of this rift has the power to draw in those who have awakened their abilities. Originally, Captain Se-Ion intended to just hang around near the master of the rift to buy time until the rescue operation was complete, but when he arrived, he immediately encountered the scene of the shop assistant being hypnotized walking right in front of the master of the rift, Yang Hee-Ejin. Although he was angry, the reason was too reasonable, so he could only keep quiet. "I didn't plan to let him off that easily. But if he did it to save someone, who am I to say anything?" Jongbin chuckled. "That's true, but a deal's a deal. He will still have to pay a fine," Yang Hyesun said, sweating. "It sounds simple, but is there any way to get it back?" "Well, I tried to bring it up, but Captain Se-Ion kept staring at me as if he was about to take my life, so I had to rush away." In another development, after escaping from the rift, Ji was sitting in the back of the car, leaning against Sa-Eon. At this point, he could only act weak and vulnerable. Ji whispered in Sa-Eon's ear, asking if they had let it go. Sa-Eon seemed to want to show off as well. If I step in, the rice will be milled into bran. I said that while saving people, things turned out this way so they couldn't say anything more, but since I'm a hunter, I still have to pay a little fine. G glanced and continued to whisper about the registration, but hid his true power so it went smoothly. But can that Min-Ki really fix my rank? In the haze, Sa-eon could only respond vaguely. Well, if he can't even do that, he doesn't deserve to get paid. He'll have to take care of fixing the power measurement data himself. Before it was transferred to the data center of the Awakening Management Bureau, while still acting as an actor, G didn't dare to look straight, but still wanted to ask, so. It seems like Sa-eon still has no intention of leaving here. Sa-eon also appeared helpless. He might stay here until early tomorrow morning. This incident is more serious than I thought, but more importantly, are you sick? G jumped at this, or rather shivered at this cheesiness. Sa-eon still showed concern. I see you sweating coldly. Come on, let go of my hand and I'll feel better right away. Sa-eon still clung to him like that. Hyung, do you know you look like a madman? What are you scrutinizing me for? I see you're really good at lying. Just leave me alone. Those in the service industry have to lie to make a living. Don't dig any deeper. Knowing too much isn't good. Sa-eon paused. He was really suspicious. Hyung says something G has to retort. What's suspicious about that? Anyway, you've signed a contract with me. Sa-eon seemed more caring, even hugging tighter. Right, why did you sign a contract with someone as suspicious as me? G suddenly sensed a sweet fragrance wafting in the dreamy haze, startling him awake. It's the shop's detox soup. Luckily, everything went smoothly afterward. Partly because many other events were happening, Lisa Eon had once been gifted a type of disposable equipment by Hong I-sung, thanks to which G returned to the shop immediately. Both the pot of soup and the shop were still safe and sound, not burned, so the shop could still be open. Young people at this hour are rushing to meet their KPIs. With less than 20 minutes until opening time, Jay is cutting through tasks at lightning speed. The system announces, "Congratulations, you've discovered a new power." The ability to adapt to combat situations is at level S. You thought all you had to do now was wait for the final touches on your little miracle to fake your ability ranking. Finally, after being busy for days, Jay finally has time to swing the door wide open for some fresh air. Just then, a postal worker rides up and asks him, "Sir," yes, that's right. G, still dazed and unable to respond, is suddenly presented with a series of congratulatory flower arrangements sent to him, all gifts meant to win him over. He hasn't even had time to recover when a crowd of people shows up holding flowers and fruits. The young staff member's eyes are shining brightly, having heard that G has awakened his powers. Hey, why didn't you tell us? They crowd around, making G feel genuinely overwhelmed. Is that a bouquet sent by Honey Bee? Captain Han has had his eye on him for a long time. Wow, they sent flowers right away. Quick on the draw. Congratulations, what rank did you get? This young staff member was already quite talented even before awakening. He must have reached at least level B, right? Are you planning to quit your job at the Detox Soup Shop? After being bombarded by that crowd, Jay hung a big sign outside the Detox Soup Shop. Closed. No flowers, gifts, or banners allowed. No asking the boss about the ranks of part-time employees. No tempting part-timers to join your team. No HR recruitment. Violate any of these rules and you will be banned from the Detox Soup Shop. G was completely exhausted, feeling aches all over. He thought that after the explosive praise incident at the registration center, the information about awakened individuals would be completely exposed. Luckily, they didn't find out his rank. There was Han Byung-gu and even Zombie. They were clinging on like leeches, making it hard for him to react. He had told them not to send gifts, yet they still secretly left them anyway. These people are so annoying. Just stepping out, G saw a slow-moving figure seemingly in conversation with someone. G peeked around, curious. A reporter or maybe a hunter, planning to sneak in and deliver gifts again, perhaps? It didn't seem like anyone he recognized. Just then, the girl turned around and startled him. He held his head, still confused about what was happening. She looked like a student. Why was she here? He approached her kindly and asked, "Are you okay? You're a student and you're here at the Detox Soup Shop at this hour." The girl was sweating, crawling on the ground, stammering. Eventually, G invited her to sit inside the shop and offered her tea properly. "Thank you, sir. I'm sorry for coming here so suddenly." "It's no problem, but why did you come to the Detox Soup Shop? You should be at home at this hour. Do you need help with something?" The girl appeared frightened, tightly closing her eyes. "I know that your brother Uide is G." Upon hearing this, G felt like his heart dropped. In shock, he tried to maintain his composure. "What did you just say?" The girl spoke confidently. "You don't need to hide that from me. It's a bit late, but let me introduce myself. My name is Yoon Ga Yoon. I'm in the 12th grade at Saebom High School for Girls. Not long ago, I awakened my level S power related to the mind. At that moment, Ji suddenly remembered that this girl must be the one who awakened her powers. At this moment, I suddenly remembered that this girl is the one who awakened the ability. Jongbin and Sayong mentioned Yun Ga-yun, who continued to express her ability to see fragments of the world. Ji, if I told you that there are other worlds existing outside of this one, would you believe me? Every time I fall asleep, I can glimpse the small pieces falling from another world. It's not something I can control. That place is both similar and different from our world. There are people there who clearly share the same names and faces as those here, but they seem like completely different people. If you look closely, you'll see that world is chaotic and disordered, just like in this tiny fragment. I'm truly scared. When I have to say that this world will eventually perish, I sigh, trying to reassure myself. It's hard for you to believe what I'm saying, right? Yun Ga-yun lowers her head. Yes, I know you won't believe it. You might think I'm crazy. The small pieces I see in my dreams are fragments that fell from worlds that have perished before. And when the apocalypse comes no longer restrained, that world shatters and the fragments come flying here. I know hiding my true identity is difficult because you have your own reasons. I had planned not to come looking for you, but I want to get straight to the point. I want you to help me prevent the apocalypse. I don't want to be someone who knows the end is coming and remains indifferent. If I don't do anything, I'll lose everything I cherish. Please, let's look at the fragments I've seen together. I'm begging you. After hearing these heartfelt words, Ji decided to close his eyes tightly and began to truly feel what he saw: a scene of chaos, desolation, darkness, and coldness. He looked up at the sky and froze. This place looks like the waterway on the Western Sea where I had searched every nook and cranny for 8 years. His body began to feel nauseous and dizzy. Is this the appearance of a world that has perished, drawn into the waterway on the Western Sea? Suddenly, Ji heard rustling sounds from afar. The girl holding a book in her hands, her face smeared, is indeed Yun Ga-yun, who seems to have grown to about 20 years old. Yun Ga-yun suddenly jumped up when she saw the person standing in front of her holding a monster-slaying sword. Yun Ga-yun, what are you doing over there? You're supposed to be in the forest on the other side. Ji was even more surprised to find that it was his own replica that had run over to Yun Ga-yun. He felt a bit worried for Honeybee. The Yun Ga-yun of this world hesitated. I'm sorry, I just intended to take a look around. But I ended up getting lost all the way here. Is this place near your school? Yun Ga-yun hesitated to reply. Yes, that's right. Ji of this world looked around and said, how about we take a quick look? Let's go. If any monsters appear, I'll handle them. Who knows, we might find someone else who's still alive. The real Ji, hearing these words, could only nod in agreement. Yes, acting like that makes sense. Ji from the desolate world raised a hand and said, oh, I have to keep this a secret from Seon. If he finds out, he'll freak out. Just then, loud booming sounds erupted and the scene seemed to have changed. Hey, clear this place out. Is there any leftover carpet? It seems this place is a stopover, or what you'd call a rescue station. Ji's replica was talking to someone else. Indeed, it looks like we will have to make a trip to the hospital in Keon Province. Ji, do you think it's okay? We have to go. What else can we do? Just then, Sion appeared out of nowhere, wrapping his arms tightly around Ji in that other world, making the doctor break into a sweat. Ji even glanced back at him flirtatiously. Sion, you came early. How's the gate in the demon realm? Ji looked straight at that doctor. The warning look made the doctor quickly sneak away, giving these two some private time. Sion insisted on sending someone else. But Ji firmly said, don't be like that. For effectiveness, it's best to let me go. Sion kept nuzzling against Ji's cheek as if being very clingy. Hyung, don't say silly things like them. Ji gently patted his head to comfort him. Witnessing this scene made Ji feel so mushy that he almost wanted to throw up. This was such a ridiculous dream. Fragments of the world, what the hell? According to Yun Ga-yun, the small fragments of the world that have perished will be chaotic and messy. But even so, Ji and Sion's appearance in this fragment was too close. They're already too attached in this fragment of the world. I was still wondering whether I should keep watching them being affectionate. But that scene had already slipped by. The space I saw inside the small fragments of the world was all very familiar, with white dust falling like snow and collapsed buildings covered in dust. This space was all ruins. Everywhere were open gates from which countless monsters I had never seen before rushed out. What's going on? It looked so much like the scene inside the water gap of the Western Sea where I had wandered lost for 8 years. Suddenly, crackling sounds made Ji's head hurt, forcing him to cover his ears. Another scene appeared before him. I will stop them here. Everyone run! Yun Ga-yun was falling over, looking very worried. Wait, how can Ji stop so many monsters alone? Ji of this world patted Yun Ga-yun's head to reassure him. If you run away, those monsters will rush to the forest. How can everyone withstand that? Don't worry, I'll be fine. I'll handle this quickly and come back. Trust me when I signal you run fast and don't look back. Oh, and one more thing, you have to keep it a secret from Sion. The fragment G saw ended here. He stood frozen, assessing the situation, realizing G couldn't go back to the base now. Behind him, other noises continued, the sound of fragments falling. G opened his hand, looking into the fragments. There were sounds like this. Do you think you're the only one who feels sad? Don't act like you're the only one who lost a world. Hanabi, calm down. I'm not quiet, I just need you to be here. Hanabi, calm down. I'm not quiet, I just need you to be gone. Do you even know how much the fighting force has suffered? Are those who have risked their lives just fools while the ones still alive have to keep living? Do you know that Bin has already lost his life? Today Morteo has also passed away. That foolish Morteo is no longer here, do you know that? Just like that. The image of Ji leaving Sejong behind and departing with the honeybee, plus the desperate look in Sejong's eyes, made Ji in the real world feel terrified, his heart racing until he finally regained his composure and escaped. Yoon Ga-yoon rushed over to support him, relieved that he was okay. You glanced over and asked what just happened. I'm not sure either. I've never seen that piece at the end before. What could it be? I think this world might be a continuation of that one. Ji suddenly shouted, startling the girl. Wait, calm down first. Yoon Ga-yoon jumped a bit. I'm sorry, this is the first time I've shown someone this fragment, so I didn't know how it would turn out. I truly apologize. I thought you had been pulled to another place already. Ji looked confused and asked, pulled to another place? What do you mean? Yoon Ga-yoon explained that. The fragments you saw earlier were all connected by me. I arranged it so that when we watched all the memories, we would return to this exact place. But suddenly the connection broke and you were taken to a place I completely don't know about. I wonder if someone else intervened. Yoon Ga-yoon lowered her head. Her right hand held her left hand, which was blackened. I don't know about that. This is the first time I've encountered this. Ji looked at his injured hand, showing concern, but Yoon Ga-yoon reassured him, It's okay, don't worry. The management will treat you. It must be because of the last fragment that this happened. I won't tell anyone else that you are Ji, okay? I'll keep that secret. But I accidentally let slip about the person who praised the water in Incheon. This time Ji is really gone. Talking privately with the director is really scary. Well, since it has come to this, Ji doesn't want to make it difficult anymore. It's okay. Don't tell anyone else that I've thanked you enough. Yoon Ga-yoon hesitated and said, I think I need to tell you that this world will eventually face destruction, and the management will seek Ji. To prevent the apocalypse, Ji was quite surprised. They're looking for Ji. Yes, the management is still considering many options to prevent the apocalypse, but just then, Jae appeared on the leaderboard. To confront the apocalypse, they must be sending a search team to hunt down Jae right now. Your decision to register as a hunter once again is indeed a wise choice. The search team is considering the case that Jae may have lost his memory due to the shock from Kinut, so they are conducting a hunt for those who haven't registered as hunters, or just an ordinary person at this moment. I just wishes that if only she could really lose her memory, that would be good, but it's true. If you had been a moment slower, who knows, you might have ended up on their wanted list. The contract you signed with Sion is now useful. After saying that, Ga-yoon suggested going home since it was late. Ji stood up and said, Why don't you go to the emergency room to check on your injury first? I see your hand doesn't look good. Ga-yoon forced a smile. No, it's fine. The management will handle it. Don't worry about me, and besides, in the future, if there's no information I need to pass on to you, I won't come here anymore. It just makes you feel uneasy. Ji flinched and replied, It's not that serious. Ga-eun shook her head and smiled brightly. It's fine. Sometimes there are hunters from the management who follow me, so it's best if I don't come here. Ji was a bit curious and wanted to ask more. Can I ask you one more thing? Do you know any information about those who created artificial awakened beings? After thinking for a while, the girl replied, Oh, yes, I do. I heard my uncle in being mention it. It seems he said those people acted with the intention of preventing the apocalypse, but they kidnap others for experiments even if their goals are similar to ours. So I don't want to get involved. Besides that, did you hear anything else? Ga-yoon thought for a moment and added, Oh, I heard him say something about the Incheon port. I only eavesdropped while he was on the phone, so I don't know the specifics. I'm sorry. Seeing the girl look so weak, Ji comforted her. It's okay, thank you for letting me know. With that, Ga-yoon bowed and said goodbye as she left. Once she was gone, Yoon bowed and said goodbye as she left until she was completely gone. Jimin thought about another world, a world that truly existed similar to this one that had once existed. Why? In that world, Jae had died, Youngbin, and Moteo had both lost what Ji and Ga-yoon had seen just a few fleeting moments from the past. It's impossible to know. When will the apocalypse come and how? Waiting for an uncertain future is no different from walking forward with your eyes closed. The management will do everything to find Jay because they want a guide to lead the way. Helping them find the best path from now on. What should I do? If only the apocalypse had signs to warn us. While G was recalling and wondering about the black fragment he saw today, his phone rang. It was a message from Sion. "I need your help," G replied with a very curt message showing his bluntness. "Yeah," Sion texted back, reproaching him. "You should reply with more than that." G just replied with a "yeah," stretching the A out, making Sion helpless. After a while of standing there frozen, she burst into laughter. "All right then. Overthinking doesn't help me solve anything immediately. Instead of stressing out and achieving nothing, I might as well just get moving. Let's get to work first." The reason he made that decision was that Sion had sent a suggestion for him to go to Incheon. In another turn of events, a group of people is loading boxes onto a truck. "How many are there today, ma'am?" Recently, the shipments have been coming in less frequently. "Are they planning to push us out completely? What are you saying that sounds so hurtful? We risk our lives just to bring this shipment here. The management and the Pago team are hunting us down hard. Almost everyone in Busan has been caught. So in Incheon, there's still a way to escape. But those who got caught must have slipped up somewhere, and the higher-ups have already issued a directive. This place probably won't hold out much longer, so everyone needs to move out tomorrow. Right before we all get caught, this group is just grumbling amongst themselves. We have to move a bunch of packaged goods from the larger items first. We need to get out quickly before the management shows up. We should split the drugs into smaller portions and take them away. Yes, we understand. The district Songba reports that someone is about to enter the transformation phase. Over there, they're adding a bit more drugs. They're revealing all the confidential information to each other without realizing that Jay is spying on them with binoculars and taking notes. While taking notes, he thought to himself what their intentions were. They are responsible for supplying items to each facility, which is really hard to find. I was only observing their movements early that morning. I've only been tracking them for a week, and now they're packing up to flee. I need to report this to Sion immediately. Once I contact them, Sion will send someone over right away. But will they be able to provide support in time before they leave? If I can keep following these guys, that would be great. If they take a car or a boat to escape, it'll be hard for me to chase them since I'm alone, and I can't fly. If that's the case, I have no choice but to rush into the central area to hold them back. After thinking it over, Jay decided to dive into the fire and got captured by them. "Where did this brat come from? Are you crazy to dare to rush in here and ambush us?" Another guy came over and asked what his connection was to the management. The guy next to him asked back, looking like he wasn't involved. The other guy just kept interrupting. "Why are you asking me when I asked you first? Haven't you checked yet? It's this brat here who won't open his mouth. He doesn't have any official documents in his apron pocket, but he does have a hunter's card. But he's just a lowly D rank. A brat at only D rank, huh? He doesn't seem to show any signs of transformation. If he's a junkie who sniffed out drugs here, that wouldn't be right. He looks pretty sober. This guy is starting to act like a thug. Well, just give him a few hits and he'll start talking." The moment I touched that guy, it felt like I was hit in the gut with a pain that shot through me as if I had been punched in the stomach, and I jumped up clutching my arm and crying out in pain. The blonde guy behind me grumbled, "That guy is just pretending. He needs to chill. What's with the loud screaming over just one hit to the head?" The other guy explained, "I'm not pretending. My jaw is broken." Then he handed the blonde guy a stick, and the blonde marched straight towards Jay, thinking he had some kind of skill. "If you're bold enough to look at me like that, you must have some confidence, huh? Even if you stare at me like that, I won't go easy on your pretty face, you know?" The blonde guy was really full of himself. He swung the stick straight at Jay's head, all excited, saying, "Let me show you what pain feels like." Jay's head remained intact while the stick shattered into pieces. How did it get bent after just one hit? Is this guy's head made of stone or something? "Where are you all? Hit him for me." G was still sitting quietly, letting them rush in like crazy. The blonde guy, laughing confidently, said, "Now you know fear, right?" But when he turned around, G was still there, but both he and the chair were knocked over while the others were screaming in pain, their bones feeling like jelly trembling all over. The blonde guy started to panic. "What's going on here?" At that moment, G finally spoke up, pushing himself up and quickly tearing off the ropes. "Oh no, this isn't good!" "I wanted to cooperate with you guys nicely, but your skills are just too pathetic. Come on, all of you useless guys charge in at once so we can finish this quickly." The young man running in was Choigo Joe, a hunter from the #1 support team nicknamed Romantic Opener, ranked 50th. Choigo Joe had come to take over the mission while the little miracle Minky was on a business trip abroad. His task was to supervise the part-time staff at the detox shop and report everything big and small to the team leader. But while Choi Go-jo was diligently carrying out his mission, he couldn't see the opponent anywhere. Choi Go-jo was stunned, thinking, wait, I just glanced away for a second and he disappeared. Immediately, he ran to find Ji and stopped at a place where strange sounds were coming from. Could it be that the target got caught while wandering off and is being dragged away? I imagine Ji being tied up in a pitiful state, making Choi Go-jo go crazy. Damn those bastards, you can't hit someone weak! Choi Go-jo appeared, fists clenched tightly. He thought to himself, this is definitely not because I'm scared of losing the target and getting killed by the team leader. He thought he would become the hero who saves the beauty. But who would have thought that when he arrived, he would see Jay beating up those guys? Choi Go-jo was stunned, remembering that Minky had instructed him to prioritize staying close to Ji. He was a D-rank hunter, so if anything happened, he had to protect him. But now he couldn't believe his eyes. Is that a D-rank hunter, almost like a normal person? Ji saw Choi Go-jo and called out clearly, making Choi Go-jo freeze, only able to respond with a yes, sir. Ji straightforwardly asked, are you one of them? That's a D-rank hunter, almost just a regular person, right? Ji clearly called out Choi Goro as soon as he saw him, causing Choi Goro to freeze and just respond, yes, sir. Ji bluntly asked, are you one of them? Choi Go-jo was panicking, shaking his head frantically. No, that's absolutely not it. However, Ji still didn't believe it and looked at him with a fierce glare. In this situation, of course, if I were to ask, everyone would answer that it's not true. Choi Go-jo, who was actually stepping back in fear, was just a regular part-time worker at that liquor store. At this point, I could only explain that it wasn't me. I really didn't do anything. Ji clenched his fists tightly, warning him not to think about running away. Don't waste your energy, I'll catch you in no time. Choi Go-jo obediently knelt down, leaning forward, looking straight into Ji's eyes and said, so what were you going to say earlier? Go on, tell me. If you don't speak up quickly, just look behind you to see the consequences. Choi Go-jo had no choice but to pull out his business card. I'm Choi Go-jo, part of Team Pato. The captain sent me here. He told me to protect you. After confirming, Ji laughed mindlessly. You're quite quick, huh? You didn't need to be this fast. Well, looking at you, I can see you understand. But I want to emphasize that I'm not in a good mood right now. I just closed the store to take a little break when these guys kidnapped me. It wasn't enough that they kidnapped me. They even beat me up because I was slow to respond. They used hammers and even baseball bats with nails to hit me. Choi Go-jo knew Ji was trying to play the victim, but he still had to go along with it. How could they be such trash? Ji was still acting like a top-tier actor, complaining, I got beaten up so badly that my clothes are all torn. Just look at Choi Go-jo acting all panicked. Oh my god. Those bastards. They should be fed to the fish. Ji cried out, hoo-hoo, and concluded, that's why I had to take action just a little bit. After saying this, Choi Go-jo trembled even more. If just a little action made him like this, then how would it be when he really had to act? Ji continued to play the victim, adding a bright smile. So, Choi Go-jo, could you keep your mouth shut for me? I don't have the ability to wipe people's memories clean, so if I have to erase them, I can only do it physically. Choi Go-jo started to act clueless, pretending to have amnesia. Where am I? Who are you, part-time worker? I don't know where this is or what happened, but if I open the door for you, does that mean I've helped you? Ji looked confused, not understanding. Choi Go-jo continued. My power is that every time I open a door, I can shift space. Ji also seemed excited. Oh, this ability is perfect for delivering goods, but do you get penalized when you use your power? It's kind of like side effects when taking medicine. Choi Go-jo hesitated. Well, there is. Ji pressed on. Come on, tell me. I need to know what your penalty is before I decide whether to ask you to open the door. Once I know the street name or the location on the map, I can open the door to go anywhere. This power can help many people move to their desired locations. However, this ability takes the place where I'm standing as the center point. While the door is continuously connected, many people can pass through. But the farther away you move from the center point, the longer I will faint, and once I faint, the door will close immediately, Ji analyzed and questioned. The desired location, however, this ability will use where I'm standing as the center point. While the door is continuously connected, many people can pass through. But the further you move from the center point, the longer I will faint, and once I faint, the door will immediately close. Ji analyzed and questioned. So now, if we take this place as the starting point for calculations, if you open the door from Incheon to Seoul, how many days do you think you'll faint? Choi Go-jo hesitated, trying to estimate maybe a day and a half. If it's longer, then I'd probably faint for about 2 days. Ji continued to probe, what if you opened the door to Washington, D.C.? I've never opened a door to Washington before, but I have opened one to Toronto, Canada. At that time, the captain had an urgent business trip, and I ended up lying down from one season to the next. G felt a bit helpless after hearing this. Wow, this ability is really impressive. But the punishment is also too severe. Then I sincerely apologize, but could you help me open the door? If you faint, I'll take you to the hospital, so don't worry. Chogozo clapped his hands together excitedly. You don't need to worry about that. Open up, oh door of magic leading anywhere. I don't know what kind of power this is, but just saying the name feels like a copyright violation twice over the moment the door appeared. Choi Gojo's whole body started shaking, leaving Jay confused. What's going on? Why is he suddenly trembling like that? Wait, I haven't even said where I want to go yet. At that moment, the door opened, revealing the office of Sion. G gritted his teeth in frustration, realizing he had been tricked. He asked him to open the door, and he opened it to the captain's place. What the heck? Chogozo felt that the captain was still more intimidating. Doing this seemed like the right thing to do. Sion, upon seeing G, took off his glasses and sighed. But how did he open the door to the captain's place? It made Gozo feel like the captain was still scarier. Doing this seemed like the right thing. Sion just saw G take off his glasses and let out a sigh. I heard you say you were holding them back, but I'm curious about what you were planning to do. So what exactly did you do that was so crazy? Sion looked annoyed, slamming his hand on the table and leaning closer to G. What did you do to look so worn out? After sitting down in his chair, Sion began to scold him. First, I'll let you speak. Why did you rush out like that? I thought I could gather more information to track them down, and it would be a shame to miss out. Sion crossed his arms and complained, Hyung, you didn't need to go that far. What I asked you to do was simply to monitor them. For controlling them, I'll send someone else with expertise. I can handle it faster than those guys, like today. Sion couldn't deny it. Yeah, you did help me. This is the first time we've confiscated all the drugs. G felt a bit smug immediately. See, aren't I cool? Sion sighed. Ugh. G didn't want to stay here any longer, so he stood up. I did well with the task you assigned me, so I'm off. Sion looked at G with a slightly sulky expression. What now, you little brat? It's okay, I was just thinking if you're really going to go home looking like that. Looking at the blood-stained shirt and the dirt all over his body made G feel a bit awkward, so she pressed herself against him again, urging him to stay still.